What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. This is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 124 for your Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, joined by the one and only the GOAT. And it's not because of the Devil's Kiss, the Solomonster. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, I can start doing the Devil's Kiss here on the shows if you think it might help the ratings out a little bit. I don't know if anybody here would want to see that.
No, I don't think anybody wants to see that. But I am, I was watching the show last night, as I'm sure you were as well. And when she said that, I'm like, gee, I wonder if they're really listening to a lot of the different criticisms in the community, you know?
Well, I mean, I just was literally on my end. I was just talking about the fact that, this woman is a hell of a lot more than just one move, and it's kind of a shame that this is what she's becoming known for, and nobody seems to care about anything else but the Devil's Kiss. So at least they're leaning into the criticism.
There you go. She's a lot better than that, but we will definitely touch upon Monday Night Raw. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about John Cena. I don't believe it's here. We got one match left, Saturday, 3 days to go, and John Cena is officially retired as an active WWE superstar. It's crazy to even think about.
Well, I mean, it's crazy to think about the fact that he publicly announced this in July? It was July of last year, right?
Whatever Money in the Bank was.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. And you would think, man, they have all this time to get it right. And there's been some good, there's been some bad, but I just think, overall, man, you would think that this would be like the most important thing in the world to not screw up. And yet, when we look back on this year, there's going to be a lot of, things that we're going to look back on and go, man, that really was a shame that it turned out that way. They should have zigged instead of zagged. And for John Cena's final year, a guy they call the GOAT, you wouldn't expect that, but here we are, and one left.
What did Cena say to Triple H on that episode of Unreal? It would take a lot to fuck up a 500-page book. We're getting to that last page or something along those lines, and Triple H kind of uttered, "Yeah, it can happen.
Oh, it can happen. Oh, it can happen.
Oh, it happened. It happened." I don't believe that those words were said, and then we look back on this year, and it's like, what the fuck happened?
It's like challenge accepted.
That's basically what it was. He was accepting his bluff. You don't think we can do it? We'll show you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into that. We got a lot of John Cena talk. We got the Chris Van Vliet interview, which I have a lot of notes from today. That's the first one that I kind of gravitated towards because I wanted a more genuine take, and I always feel like Chris is a genuine take, and he's just a real dude. So I didn't want to sit down and watch the Tom Rinaldi interview on WWE's YouTube channel. I know you guys just made me aware. I didn't even realize this, that he was on Joe Rogan, and I know that's kind of not really going to talk about pro wrestling. He talked about a lot of everything else but pro wrestling. So we're going to kind of concentrate on the Chris Van Vliet stuff because Chris really kind of asked him some of the questions that he would not really answer early on in this run, and I feel like he gave whatever answers he could towards some of the harder-hitting questions from the fans on that interview today. So we're definitely going to go over that. We'll talk about Gunther in the match on Saturday and that card, which is shaping up to be a great card, even though it's only 4 matches. I do hope, keeping my fingers crossed, that maybe we get a 5th, maybe, but I highly doubt it at this stage of the game. So we'll talk about that, previewing predictions for Saturday night's main event. We got a little bit of Deadline talk. I did watch Deadline. Jason's got some thoughts on that as well, so we'll definitely touch upon that. And we got some notes from Raw. LA Knight, we'll talk about LA Knight. Braun Breaker, possibly the front runner to win the Royal Rumble, even after he was just announced on January 5th to be wrestling CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, which I hope is the case and he wins. But we'll talk about that. We got the Warner Brothers Netflix drama, which now Paramount swoops on in with an extra $20 billion all-cash offer. So we'll talk about that, how it affects Hollywood, how it affects AEW, because that was a big discussion this week. We got a loaded show. So thank you guys for joining us here on TNT, episode 124. Last week we had a watch time of 49 minutes. So maybe we could get that above 50. Keeping an eye on you guys. You guys are keeping an eye on us. I'm keeping an eye on you. So let's do it. You guys love what we're doing here, and we appreciate you being here. Super chats are open. It's the best way to get in on supporting us. So we'll read your questions, comments, and concerns at the end of the show, so get them on in. You guys can follow Jason wherever he is available, Twitter, YouTube. Everything you need is linked down below in the description. And please hit that thumbs up. Helps us out tremendously in getting the video and the podcast out to new eyes and new ears. So thank you guys very much for that. All right, man. What do you want to talk about?
Well, actually, what I wanted to bring up real quick, and I don't know if you were aware of this or not. If you saw the Activision news,
I did.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, they've already kind of wanted to go back and start doing like maybe every 2 years of a Call of Duty. They went back on that, so they opted to do Black Ops 6, which was a complete failure. And then they came out with Black Ops 7 this year, which I bought because of the fact that they got rid of skill-based matchmaking. Now, I don't know if you know what skill-based matchmaking is. The better you play, the harder the lobbies get, and they're going to match you with players that equal to your skill, which is fucking awful.
Yeah, well, you've been ranting about that for years.
Yes, it's not a casual experience. So Black Ops 7, to me, is actually better than Black Ops 6, but it's basically, it's not even a full-fledged game. It's like an enhanced Black Ops 6. So it's not really a full-fledged release. They're pretending it is, but it's not. So this year was the lowest selling Call of Duty in the history of the franchise. And a lot of people have abandoned the game because it's the same shit every year, no new innovation, skill-based matchmaking. And now Activision really is kind of saying, you know what, we're gonna promise to give you the best game that we can the rest of the year, and we're gonna give you guys the game that we want, or that you guys want. I don't believe them. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna believe them. So they can give us the best game ever. I don't think people are gonna come back. I think they're done. It's like WWE. Yeah, we're going to give you the best year ever. And then this year has been like...
They just got to coast, right? They just rest on their laurels. And
that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll follow up on that. Yeah, I did read that. These big corporations, you can't trust them, though. I made a comment to myself as I'm having dinner. I'm like, what? Did they realize that they finally made enough money now they can give back to the fans? It's like, now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I saw that, I thought of you. I said, I have to bring it up. And I'm sure you were already plugged into that. But if not, I said, let me bring it up.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. But I think before we get into all of the Cena stuff and everything, why don't we start with the Netflix WBD stuff? Because this whole thing really is a mess.
Yeah.
In all honesty. I mean, there's so many moving parts to this, and it's such just an evolving thing. But because of the wrestling tie-in, why don't we start there? All
right. So Netflix... Earlier, I would say, what was it? Late last week, we found out over the weekend. Netflix, $82.7 billion for Warner Brothers Discovery. They were about to announce this deal, and a lot of people made it about what's going to happen to pro wrestling. Now, I have spoken to some people that are better equipped at this topic than I am, because I don't really know anything outside the pro wrestling landscape. So I hit up Nick LaPiccolo in the DMs, and he's been absolutely spot on with everything. And I told him, word for word, I don't think that Netflix's offer is going to stand, and I don't think that, what you said is going to fall on deaf ears. I feel like he's going to end up being correct. I think Paramount's going to swoop on in and basically take this deal over, and they're going to be the ones to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. But we'll get to that point, and I still feel that way. So Netflix announced this, and what they are acquiring is the following. The deal includes Warner Brothers Film and Television Studios, HBO and HBO Max. That is the home of AEW on their streaming service. So we'll talk about what that means for AEW. This means Netflix will gain access to the iconic franchises such as Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Sopranos, Friends, and the DC Universe, amongst others. What's not included, TNT Sports stay separate. So TNT, where AEW resides, it's going to be its own separate entity known as Discovery Global. So crucially for wrestling fans, TNT Sports and cable networks that carry AEW are not going to be a part of the Netflix acquisition outside of the HBO and HBO Max stuff. So prior to the deal closing, which is expected next year, Q3, Warner Brothers Discovery will complete a previously announced separation of its global networks division into a new publicly traded company called Discovery Global. This will separate the company and will retain TNT Sports in the United States, including TNT and TBS, CNN, Discovery Channels, Bleacher Report, Discovery Plus, and free-to-air channels across Europe. Now, what this means for AEW signed a new media rights deal back in 2024, keeping the promotion on TNT and TBS through 2028. Now, since those networks will remain with Discovery Global, AEW's current television arrangement appears unaffected by the Netflix acquisition outside of the HBO Max stuff because we don't know. But they're okay for now because this isn't going to go into effect until 12 to 18 months down the line. However, the separation does create some uncertainty about the long-term future. Discovery Global will be smaller. It will be a standalone company focused on cable networks and sports at a time when the industry continues shifting towards streaming. Now, we don't know how much money Discovery Global is going to be allotted. We don't know how much of the debt that they will carry, and we don't know what that means for AEW. We have no idea what that means for AEW. So with Warner Brothers production capabilities now under its umbrella, Netflix could theoretically expand its wrestling ambitions, though no such plans were announced as a part of the deal last week. This also comes as Netflix has already made significant inroads to professional wrestling. As you know, Raw's on there. We're celebrating 1 year coming up this January. They are a part of a 10-year deal worth $5 billion. Reportedly, Netflix could re-up them for another 10 years additionally. We don't know how that's going to play out over the course of this first 10 years. The streaming giant also produced wrestling-adjacent content, documentaries, and obviously a docuseries about OVW. Now, the Warner Brothers Discovery share per price on Wall Street was $27.75. So that is expected to close within 12 to 18 months, subject to regulatory approval. That's the big thing. Warner Brothers shareholder approval and the completion of Discovery Global separation. Netflix CEO framed the acquisition as expanding the company's mission to entertain the world, combining Warner Brothers' century of storytelling legacy with Netflix global distribution reach. Then there was Paramount that came in this past week, and they offered $20 billion more than Netflix and said it would be an all-cash deal. And they issued the following. Our offer provides superior value and a more certain and quicker path to completion to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. Equity to be backstopped by the Ellison family and Redbird Capital, in addition to debt fully committed by Bank of America, Citibank, and Apollo. Obligation to take offer directly to Warner Brothers shareholders over concerns they were not presented most compelling and superior transaction. A Netflix transaction provides Warner Brothers shareholders with inferior and uncertain value, a protracted and uncertain multi-jurisdictional regulatory clearance process. So they came in with $20 billion more, and right now we don't know where it stands, and it's just a complete shit show. So as far as what this means for pro wrestling, Jason, I made a video on it, and nobody really has a clear answer as to where it's going to be for pro wrestling. I think everybody really needs to sit down and think what this is going to do to consolidate where we watch our programming and the movies. And, you know, having everything under one umbrella like Netflix is bad for Hollywood. It's bad for people who have jobs in Hollywood, movie studios. The way we kind of go to the theaters could be extinct over time.
Well, yeah.
You know?
No, either one of these situations is horrible.
Yeah.
I actually think Netflix is the less horrible of the two. But they're both horrible scenarios either way. Because, you know, what you have, especially if it goes to Paramount, you know, you're going to have one family that will own so many different media properties and television networks and news networks and IP for all these different things. And it's a dangerous thing. And you would think that they have, you know, these guidelines and these regulations and rules and laws in place to prevent this sort of thing. And it just feels like, you know, these big mega corporations and conglomerates, they're getting, you know, bigger and bigger, and they're just throwing all these billions around and saying, hey, we're just going to swallow everything up. And I don't see the benefit in it for anybody other than themselves. So I think no matter how this ends, I think it's a terrible situation no matter what. But, you know, if you pay attention to what's been going on in the news, like with the Ellisons and everything, I don't know if you saw this story from a few weeks ago where I think it was Paramount, had greenlit another Rush Hour movie because Trump was a big fan of the Rush Hour movies. So now the plan was to greenlight a Rush Hour 4. Now,
because Trump asked for it?
Yes. So imagine then, let's say they get all of this stuff, right? And now you have all these different television networks and news networks and all these things. And it's like, you know, to have that kind of power and to, you know, play nice with, you know, whoever the folks are who are in power at any given moment. You know, what does that mean if there's a television show, you know, that they don't like? Are they just going to cancel the television show? Right. I mean, it poses all of these other questions. It's just such a dangerous situation and a slippery slope. I just think it's all very gross and very awful. As far as Netflix goes, I mean, the reason that people are concerned about that is because a lot of it has to do with the movie theater industry and comments that the head of Netflix has made in the past about he's not really big on the theater experience, right? I mean, it's the head of Netflix, of course. Like, they're not really big on movie theaters and people getting up and going out to the theaters. It's all about streaming. So there are a lot of people who rightfully, I think, are concerned that in the long run, no matter what they're saying publicly now, in the long run, this could lead ultimately to the downfall of, the cinemas, here in this country. And I talked about this on, my end, on my show, and it's like, true, that may end up happening and that would be really sad. But like, honestly, I think the theater industry has sort of been dying a slow death anyway over these last many years.
When was the last time you actually been to a theater?
I went to go see Weapons.
That's right.
Earlier this year.
That's right. I went to go see Jurassic Park.
I saw Weapons. Before that, it would have been the Iron Claw. I don't remember if that would have been the end of last year or the year before. I think the end of last year. Before that, it had been years.
Yeah.
I think since I had been to a movie theater. So, and I'm just one person, but like in my case, I just found myself going less and less, not just because of the convenience factor where it's like, oh, it'll be out on streaming in, whatever, a month or two. But just the movie going experience is fucking horrendous. Yeah. I mean, we talk about the WWE ticket prices, dude, like the price to go to a movie. And I'm not even talking IMAX. I'm just talking like a regular movie. And you throw the refreshments in there. And then the actual experience, depending on where you're seeing this movie. Like people at these movie theaters, like it's awful. It's awful. Why am I going to go and have like an unpleasant experience because other people are acting like assholes when I could just say, fuck it, I'll wait for it to come out on streaming and I'll watch it at home in my living room. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of reasons why the movie theater industry has taken a hit over these last many years. And I think in the end, they probably will go away. And I can understand people being concerned about that. But there's a lot of things that we just don't know the answer to. Netflix will say one thing, but that doesn't mean that that's what's going to end up happening. But when you put all this power in the hands of one company or one family or whatever it may be, that's not a good thing for you and me and everybody else. I don't see the net overall benefit in it for us. I just think that's a terrible situation.
Yeah, I can't really say that this is going to be exciting for us. I'm sure what this means for us as well. Everybody's got I'm guarantee you half of the fucking people here have Netflix. I don't know what I pay for Netflix now. It just automatically comes out of my bank account. Oh. I don't know what it is. What is it? $17.99, bro. It's gonna be like fucking $29.99 by that.
Well, dude, it depends because there's different packages, right? Yeah. I mean, if you want the standard, if you want no ads, if you want some ads, I think the one with no ads it's in the 20s. It's like $22.99 or something like that a month. The standard one is $17.99 a month. Yeah. So of course, like if Netflix gets it. Yeah, like we're gonna look back on this as the good old days of like what Netflix used to cost. Because I said it's like it's gonna get to a point where it's costing as much as what cable costs. That's where this is headed.
Yeah,
like if you don't think those rate hikes aren't going to be coming and not going to pass this on to the consumer, you're out of your mind. So there's a lot of reasons why people should be, I think, a little worried about this, regardless of who gets it.
Yeah, I seen Mark Shapiro. He's with TKO, one of the suits and ties out there. And he said, I would love a world where we can bring UFC to Max and Paramount. Hey, yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, I'm sure you want that.
Well, Paramount is the one, as far as, I mean, I guess UFC, they have a deal with them now. But like as far as wrestling, like Paramount is, they're not in the wrestling business.
No.
It's like the last one, them and Amazon, I guess. There aren't that many left that haven't been touched by WWE or somebody else.
Which is all done by design, by the way.
Which is all done by, sure, of course it's done by design, but like that's the other element about this consolidation is that you have fewer options and fewer companies out there, right? And a smaller pool that are controlling all of these different things, which is going to make it very difficult if you have, let's say, a WWE, a TKO, that has their fingers in, let's say, 5 different places. And now so many of these places are, let's say, all under the same umbrella, and you have streaming services that are being absorbed. Like, the number one streamer, Netflix. Like, if this were to go through, HBO Max, I think, is number 3 in the world. So, like, you'd have number 1 absorbing their number 3 competitor, the number 3 streaming service. How is that a good thing for the consumer? You could say, well, it's one less streaming service that we would have to pay for because we have to pay for this and this and this and this. And it's like, okay, but the other way to look at it is that, first of all, they may run them separately still, but even if they don't, again, the price hikes, the prices of Netflix is just going to get raised anyway.
Yeah, they're going to look to make their money back as soon as they can.
Yes, and but dude, like Netflix, I believe it's like $58 or $59 billion that they're borrowing.
Yes,
to make this deal. So they're going to have to make their money back. How do you think they're going to do that? Schmucks like us.
What does this mean for pro wrestling? What does this mean for AEW? I know a lot of people are freaking out about this, and whether you're an AEW fan, worrying about what's going to happen to your precious AEW, or if you're on the other side of the fence and you're one of these fucking weirdos that wants AEW to die and go away. What does this mean for AEW? Because I've seen a lot of people, with the topic of Netflix is going to kill AEW, and I took a little bit more of a backseat approach. I'm like, Netflix is not going to kill AEW. They want nothing to do with pro wrestling outside of where they're sleeping with WWE. Do I think that if Netflix is going to absorb HBO Max, that Tony Khan and AEW are going to need to find a new streaming home? Probably. I don't know where that would be, but that's going to serve as a problem for Tony Khan. But as far as where they are right now with TNT and TBS, I don't see them in any immediate danger for the next 3 or 4 years until their contract is up with that, and then it gets kind of fuzzy. But I said Netflix is not going to kill AEW. Tony Khan is going to end up killing AEW because I know you look at it, you don't talk about it. I look at it, I don't really talk about it as well. No point. Bro, the ratings are going down and they're getting worse. They once again dip under 500,000. Their demo was one of the worst in the history of the show this past Wednesday. And now it's a slow time of the year for them because the Continental Classic, there's nothing really going on there. But I mean, this has been a trend. It's been a terrible trend for most of the year.
Yeah, and now they have their Winter is Coming special tomorrow, which I think traditionally they get a bump from. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one does tomorrow. But the immediate, more short-term impact on AEW is that there is none. So I know there are some people out there, like when the Netflix news broke, I saw all these tweets about, R.I.P. AEW and all this nonsense. I'm like, all right, not that I didn't expect it, but no, in the short term, there is no change. There is no change. The reality is that even Tony Khan, who I'm sure will project that everything's great and we've got a great thing going and I'm not worried about it and I've got great relationships with all these people, and I'm sure he does, even he deep down doesn't know a year from now, 2 years from now, what the landscape is going to look like with Warner Brothers Discovery. Because this Netflix thing, if let's say the Netflix thing were to go through, they were talking about it not really, the acquisition itself would not take hold until the third quarter of next year. Like these things take about a year. Now, of course, you have this hostile takeover bid from Paramount. We really don't know how this is going to shake out. There could be legal repercussions and there could be legal battles. Netflix says we fully expected this. This was not a surprise. We're prepared for this. This could be a protracted thing that takes place. So we may be looking at something that isn't resolved for longer than a year. So we don't know how it's going to shake out. They have a contract, as Tony has said, through 2027, I believe. There might be an option year, so it could potentially be, into 2028. But let's say 2027, right? They seem to be rock solid, at least as far as that goes. The big question mark would be HBO Max, because if that, let's say, gets, again, absorbed into Netflix, I can't imagine that the AEW content is going to be streaming on Netflix. That's just,
no.
I don't see that happening. So, and that would be a blow, because I know he was waiting a long time to get this whole HBO Max thing going and get that streaming component. Now they're finally offering their pay-per-views through there. And apparently Full Gear did better than a lot of people expected it to do. I think it might have done the best through HBO Max of all the shows they've offered through there so far. So that's good. But they have their library is up there, right? All the pay-per-views are archived there. I watch Dynamite on the Max app every week. I don't know if you do. I don't think you do.
No.
But I watch it through Max. I just find it to be easier, and it's just a better viewing experience than it would be if I'm just watching it through YouTube TV. So to not be able to offer Dynamite and Collision through Max or the pay-per-views, they would take a hit. But as long as Dynamite and Collision have a home on TNT and TBS for a couple of years, then right now the sky is not falling. The bigger question is what happens when it comes time for a renewal. And that was going to be a question regardless, because as you said, the numbers now are not what they were 2 years ago. Possible that Warner Brothers Discovery is still content with the numbers and they would have renewed them. But now the game has changed. So the answer is that long term, nobody knows. And anybody telling you that they do and that this is the demise of AEW and they have nowhere to go, if they had to leave or they got bounced, right, we're not renewing you. Like, they'll find a place. But are they going to be able to find a place that will have the kind of reach that a TNT and a TBS would offer?
No.
Are they going to have to just go on a streaming service like Amazon and not have a cable component anymore, right? Is that a possibility? I think it might be.
That doesn't necessarily serve to be a good thing, in my opinion, if you're AEW.
Well, it may not, but, WWE moved Raw to Netflix, and so that seems to be going okay for them. I mean, they're streaming only on Monday nights. If AEW was to go streaming only, it would almost have to be on a service like an Amazon, and Amazon I don't think has the reach that Netflix does, so what other options would there be? We just talked about all these other streaming services that they kind of have their hand in the pie in different ones. So again, I'm just thinking Amazon's the first one that popped in my head that would have some real, visibility. But again, this is all just speculation. Yeah. We don't know. No, For the time being, Dynamite's not going anywhere. The TNT title, the TBS title, they don't have to be rebranded just yet. Long term, that's the question that we don't know. But honestly, this story is much bigger and more serious than pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is a very, very small part of this story. Yeah,
a lot of people's lives are going to be affected by this. We don't know. We don't know who's going to be in charge of this quote unquote Discovery Global. We don't know how much money they're going to have, and if AEW is going to be there, and that's where their sports are going to be. How much are they going to end up getting when the time comes? We don't know. So I said, if Tony needs to make some changes, now's the time. He's brought in every major name that is not tied down to a WWE contract, and the ratings have gone south instead of going north. And the demos have fallen way, way, way down from where they used to be only 2 or 3 years ago. They were in the they were in the 0.3 demo. Now they're in the fucking 0.1s. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why people aren't tuning into AEW. I kind of know, but I don't really know where everybody went. Maybe they all went with Punk when he left. Maybe they all went with Cody when he left. I have no idea. But he needs to start creating a better product and getting people back on board and getting the trust back in the viewer, because right now it's not there. And I think that's going to have a long-term effect on what's going to happen with him in 27 going into 28. So he holds the power. He holds the keys to the kingdom. He's got to do something to change that.
Yeah. And look, what may end up happening also, another possibility, is that a couple of years from now, they're no longer going to be on those networks, and they're going to have to find a new home, and they'll find a new home. It may not be as good, and there may be some downsizing that has to happen.
Yeah.
Because he's been spending money and licensing music and buying up all these big free agents, and that's great that he has the ability to do that. What may end up happening is that he's got to pull back on that, and maybe the roster gets a little smaller. And, he's a little more cautious about how he's spending the money to offset whatever losses that he may incur if he's not able to get the kind of money that he got on this most recent deal. This most recent deal was it in the range of, supposedly, in the range of $600 million, I think, for 3 years. He may get a deal that's a little bit less than that, though. We got a deal, but we're not making as much money, so what do? He doesn't have an infinite amount of money. You have to make cuts. Yeah. And that may be the reality also.
Yeah, so this is an ever-evolving story. We'll keep you guys updated on it. But right now, all the doom and gloom about AEW, I mean, it's just engagement farming and clickbait and all that other nonsense. But there is a genuine discussion there, like we just had. So keep an eye on who you're listening to, please. Don't believe the AEW is dead just yet. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Let's see. What do you want to go now? You want to let's talk some NXT. I got some deadline here. We'll talk deadline. We'll get into the main roster stuff, and then we'll get into the John Cena stuff. I don't know how much of deadline you watched, but I ended up watching it on Saturday. But what we'll do, and I know Jason knows the results at least. We'll just go over the results here quick. What they mean for the NXT brand, what they mean for the main roster, because we're seeing a lot of NXT talent possibly integrated into the main roster, and I think maybe some of these names are going to be called up sooner rather than later. Now, they opened the show on Saturday with Obafemi challenging Ricky Saints for the NXT Championship. Ricky Saints came in as the champion here, and Oba regains the championship after a very good match with Ricky Saints. He's now a two-time NXT champion, and I was not surprised, Jason, by Obafemi beating Ricky Saints here. I just did not have a feeling. Yeah, I didn't have a feeling that Ricky was going to beat him for a second time.
I struggled with that, but I was surprised. I was surprised at the outcome, and I was a little sad because I thought, well, if you put the championship back on Oba, that makes it less likely that he's on his way up to the main roster, and I don't want to see that. So I was kind of hoping, like, all right, they have a plan for him that's much bigger than NXT, and if that means he does a second job to Ricky Saints, then so be it. Like, that wouldn't have bothered me as much. So when he won the title, I'm like, man, what does that mean for his future in the short term? Are they going to keep him down there longer than I think he needs to be? That was my concern.
Yeah, and I know with the stipulation coming in, they announced it on Friday that the winner of this match would wrestle Cody Rhodes on Saturday night's main event in a non-title match. That's a big spot. It may be actually bigger than the NXT Championship. They'd be wrestling on this show Saturday because it's just so limited as far as appearances. So Oba gets the right to wrestle Cody. We'll talk about the preview and predictions, but I mean, it was kind of there for Cody and Ricky to go one-on-one. That was one of the reasons why I said maybe Ricky wins. Maybe they do the Cody Ricky thing and kind of petty to AEW. But seeing Oba, who a lot of people wanted to see in the tournament, not in the tournament, and now he wins the right to wrestle Cody on this huge show Saturday. I think it's kind of in a way giving back to the fans that wanted to see Oba in the tournament, but he wasn't there. Now, as far as the championship situation, we had the men's Iron Survivor, and we'll talk about this because it kind of correlates into what happened with Oba here winning the championship. Javon Evans won the men's Iron Survivor, and I thought the men's Iron Survivor was very good. I thought the women's was actually better than the men's. But Javon Evans was the right guy to win, and in this match, he was there with, and I have the names in front of me here, he was there with Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox of Dark State, and Miles Bourne. So it's only 5 guys. And Javon Evans won this.
Like, dude, I can't watch Miles. I just can't watch Miles Bourne and not think of Randy Orton.
I know. It's a little uncanny, yeah.
It's a little unnerving is what it is because, and I know people have made the comparisons before, but dude, just the way he walks, his movements in the ring.
Even the tights he wears.
Yeah, the tights, the body type. Like if you watch him from behind in the ring, you would swear it was Randy fucking Orton in the ring. It's like I just can't get over it.
Maybe they're leaning into that a little bit too much, huh?
You know what? Well, yeah, I think they might be. I think that could work against them.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, it's like, oh, what a nice comparison to make. On the other hand, it's like, I don't know that I want to be compared to, Randy Orton. I kind of want to break out and do my own thing. And it's always like, oh, here comes, baby Orton down to the ring, but it's unmistakable.
There's obviously a youth movement hopefully happening in WWE here with Javon Evans winning and then him being kind of featured on the main roster for the last couple of months here on SmackDown. And then obviously that match with Gunther in the last time is now tournament. He was obviously the right guy here. Joe Hendry was in there to give a veteran presence. Miles Bourne, relatively unknown. Dion Lennox, I don't know much about him. I'm not a big fan of Dark State. And then Leon Slater, we all know that Evans and Slater have been linked ever since that tremendous match at Bound for Glory. These Iron Survivor challenges, Jason, these matches are really fucking good. And I think this was the best year out of all the years for them to have it. I thought this was the best kind of iteration of the match that we've seen. And we'll talk about the women in a second. But I know we had a lot of criticisms about Survivor Series and the War Game situation. And I put a tweet out, and a lot of people were, barking at me saying, no, let's keep it to NXT because, it's their own thing and I don't want to see it more than we have to and blah, blah, blah. But, there are ways to work around that. Maybe we see something one year and something else the next year. Maybe NXT gets it and then maybe the main roster gets something else. How do you feel about bringing this to the main roster? Because it looks like Shawn Michaels has hit a home run with this because they had War Games when Vince didn't want it. They continued it. Then Triple H took War Games for the main roster when he took over, and Triple H, took that upon himself to leave Shawn Michaels without anything, and now Shawn Michaels created this. What do you think about putting this on the main roster?
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is that eventually that's probably what would happen. I kind of look at NXT. It's like a kind of like a petri dish, you know, and they have the ability to try new things. If it doesn't work, they don't do it again. If it works, eventually you could take it and use it on the main roster. I don't know where it would fit in because WWE is clearly not going to stop using War Games. So I don't know if it may be something where a few years from now it has its own dedicated event on the main roster. I don't know. They've tried things before on the main roster. Many years ago, they had the scramble matches. I was never a fan of those.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they went away. But I think something like the Iron Survivor challenge is unique enough where it would work. You know, and I like the idea of the penalty box, and you can kind of incorporate that into things. So, I mean, I'm not against the idea. I don't see that happening yet. I think if that happens, we're probably still a few years away from it. I think they want to keep that as like an NXT staple, but they hit on something that works. And that's the beauty of NXT. You try new things, and if it works, it may end up on the main roster one day. And if it doesn't, you'll never hear about it again.
Yeah. Well, Javon Evans won this. Obviously, like I said, he was the right guy to win. So now he wrestles. Supposedly, it was supposed to be at New Year's Evil. Chad is telling us that he asked for the match tonight because he doesn't want to wait. The future is now, so why wait till New Year's Evil? So I don't know what's going to happen within the next hour or so.
Well, he's not going to win the title. I mean, I mean, so obviously, now if you saw what happened at the end of Deadline, we had the return of your boy, Tony D.
Yeah.
Tony D. And I actually am hopeful because just the way he appeared, it just seemed to me that maybe they're not going to lean so much into that character anymore, like the over-the-top Italian mafia boss character. I think if he's ever going to have a future on the main roster, you have to move away from that. I just think it's the kind of character where you're never going to get above a certain level if you bring that character to Raw or SmackDown. Like he has to either drop it or just evolve it in some way. So if that's what he's doing, then I think that that's what he needs to do. Maybe that's a sign that they're already thinking ahead of him maybe getting a call up at some point. But because he showed up there at the end, maybe he shows up here tonight and plays a role in the finish of this match because they're not sending, I can't see them sending Javon Evans into that tag team match on Saturday. You know, one half of this tag team, and he's the NXT champion. I don't see that.
Well, I mean, that's just stupid to announce those matches that they announced already this past week to only give him the championship and then ruin everything that they've already announced.
I thought it was weird. They had that backstage segment on Saturday where Ricky Saints was in the back and he was all upset that he lost, and Javon was talking to him, and that's where Javon made the comment. He said that he wasn't going to wait for New Year's Evil, and I'm like, what does that mean?
I thought he was going to do it the night of.
Well, yeah, I didn't think that, but I took that to mean that maybe they're going to do the match on Tuesday, but they had put the graphic up and announced it for New Year's Evil. So I said there has to be some sort of angle planned if this is what they're going to do, and I suspect that's probably what's going to end up happening tonight. So I like the idea when I saw the outcomes of these matches, and I saw that Oba won, and then before Javon even won in the main event, I'm like, Javon has to win this, because if Javon wins, you do the match at New Year's Evil, maybe, and I'd be okay with this, a short run for Oba, who drops the belt to Javon at New Year's Evil.
Yes.
And then Oba shows up in the Rumble.
Yes.
Perfect. But now they're doing this. I don't know if, maybe we get no finish tonight. Maybe they can still run it back in New Year's Evil. Or maybe it turns into a triple threat with Tony D involved. But if Oba drops that belt on January 6th, I absolutely debut him in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the key is if he loses the championship, great. He's free and clear, and it's time to move him up. It's 2026. That could be the year of the ruler, right? That's what he calls himself. I'm the ruler.
Yeah.
Well, get the ruler on the main roster because they could use him, especially on Fridays.
Well, maybe we're looking at a situation where I said that same thing. I think that's the play. That's the plan for sure. Maybe Ricky Saints, if they run the match back, kind of stops Tony D from getting involved, and maybe they start a program between Ricky Saints and Tony D. Javon Evans wins the championship and does everything that we just said here with Oba. Drops the title to Evans. Evans is the new champion. He goes into the Rumble, main roster call up for Oba Femi. So I don't know where they're going after tonight. We'll see what happens, but I said that same thing, and Evans was the right guy. I think you give him the title, and right now he's hot. So I think you run with the hot hand.
And he's perfect for that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's no rush for Javon Evans on the main roster. I'd love to see him on the main roster. And I think that if he got called up tomorrow, I think he would thrive. But I think that putting the NXT championship on him would give him a chance for a while to run as the top guy of a brand, right? And then see how he does and let him get that experience under his belt where he could be the defending champion. He's the face of the brand. And after that, you could always call him up. I don't see there being this great rush with him because he is still 21 years old. Why not put the NXT championship on him first before you sort of bypass that and put him right on the main roster?
Yeah, I agree. There was a women's Iron Survivor Challenge, which I thought was the better of the two. And I thought this was just nonstop. It did not slow down whatsoever. Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, and my new favorite, Kendall Gray. Man, how good is Kendall fucking Gray, bro? Holy shit.
Yep. I said this. Somebody asked me about her, and I said, I just watched NXT last week, and I saw her do, I think it was a tilt-a-whirl flatliner. It was some kind of move that I had never seen before, but she did it, and she made it look so smooth. So I look at her, and given her background and everything, obviously she's got the amateur background and she's super athletic. Like I almost look at her. I hate making this comparison because it's not, apples to apples, but like almost like a young female Kurt Angle. She just has that athleticism and like a certain intensity about her when she's in there. And again, she's what is she, like 23, 20?
Somewhere
she's very young.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, she's somewhere around there. So she kind of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't really start hearing about her until a few months ago. And then I'm like, all right, let me check out some of what she's doing in NXT. And super impressive. And I think if she continues on that path and stays healthy, she is someone who will be, one of the kind of the crown jewels of that NXT women's division. And then eventually the women's division on the main roster on the path that she's on. She's great. Yeah,
I said it on social media, though, that 3 to 5 years, she's going to be the fucking top of the top over there. So things are going very good for her. Cinematics in the chat said she's a young Chad Gable.
Sure. Chad Gable. I would hope that she has, better success in one-on-one matches than Chad Gable has. That's why I like the Kurt Angle comparison.
Let's aspire to be Kurt Angle, not Chad Gable.
Yeah, we could aspire more for Angle than Gable, I think, but... Yeah, no, I mean, either one of those comparisons, I think, is a compliment to her. So she's fun to watch. Sol Ruka, obviously, we know that she's got big things in her future. She's one of the NXT stars on that Saturday night's main event card this weekend. She'll be wrestling Bayley. So, and she's another one. We've seen her on SmackDown. Like her and Zarya had, I think, a couple matches maybe on SmackDown this year. And that division could really use someone like her.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
That division is in dire need of some help. And Sol Ruka would fit right in there.
Well, that's a great segue into what I want to talk about here, because I did not think that they were going to give this to Kendall Gray, and they actually did. She won the Iron Survivor. She's right now the Women's Evolve champion, and now she's going after JC Jane at New Year's Evil. She won the right to wrestle JC Jane for the NXT Championship on the first NXT show of the new year. I say, if we're going to go and start talking about giving the men's world championship to Javon Evans, I think we do the same thing with Kendall Gray. And I think we desperately need, Jason, in my opinion, a youth movement where this year they went for the moments and they went for the John Cena retirement tour and they just kind of coasted all year. I think they really need to put their fucking brain cells together next year, write some captivating television, and focus on building for the future. And I hope that what we see and what John Cena's wishes are going into this show Saturday, I hope that they continue that going into the next year. Because we're talking about Obafemi in the Rumble. We got Javon Evans. We have, so much young talent down there. And that women's division is so stockpiled with talent that they don't even know what to do with half of them. So I'm going to say, put the title on Kendall Gray, make her the new champion, run with it, start building that star for the future. JC Jane's been down there for 7 fucking years. I think JC Jane, and I know you said she probably works better in a faction of sorts. Call them all up. Bring Fatal Influence to the main roster. Call JC Jane up. Bring them all up to SmackDown. They desperately need talent over there. There's nothing else you could do with her down there. And then while you're at it, Sol Ruka's going to get called up. I'd call up another 2 or 3 and just fucking fill out Raw and SmackDown with him, honestly.
Well, what's your Jordan Grace doing these days?
I don't know. Her too.
She's toiling around down there. I would not put the title on Kendall Gray at New Year's Evil, especially if they end up doing a championship change on the men's side. I think that is something you could hold off on until Stand and Deliver. I think that you drag out for a little bit longer for a bigger moment, because she's really only now first starting to make waves. So I think another 3 months, 4 months, and then on their big show, you do a title change there. I don't see both titles changing on that show. And I think of the two, it's probably more likely the men's changes than the women's. So I would hold off on it for a little bit longer and really, really build her up to where people want it. Like they're demanding it. We want her. Like she's got to be the one. And then you do it.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I'm more of let's do it now. I just feel like the product just needs changes, and I think she's the right change there. But I could definitely see that. In the meantime, if we're gonna go do that, just call Jordan Grace up. She doesn't need to be there anymore. Kalani Jordan's almost ready. Lola's, I think, is ready. You could put her on SmackDown as well.
Yeah, Mariah May.
Mariah May. Blake Monroe. She's right now holding a North American Open Challenge tonight. I mean, just the bane of creativity down there is those open challenges. So, Kendall Gray won. I thought this was an excellent match. Probably the best Iron Survivor for the women that we've seen so far out of all 4 of them. To round out some of this other show, Ethan Page beat, what's his name? Mr. Iguana? Yeah. For the North American Championship. I mean, just kind of a throwaway match there. Ethan Page is great. He's also ready for a main roster call-up, but can't call everybody up at the same time. And then Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame with Sean Spears and the Culling.
What was up with that? With the finish there?
The dolls. What happened there?
What? I mean, could you make Tatum Paxley look like any more of a freaking geek?
Man, I thought we were going to get some backup for her. I legitimately thought that we were going to get the Righteous to come on out, but they ended up in TNA.
Did you see when they came out? They got no reaction. There
was one guy in the, Who are you?
Who are you? Who are you? I'm like, you fucking kidding me?
Oh, listen, man, it goes without saying. Nobody watches Ring of Honor.
I can't disagree. I can't disagree.
Oh, man. Listen, I'll say one thing about Tatum Paxley. Chat, and I know you guys are probably big fans of Tatum Paxley. I see a lot of praise for her. Her selling and her, like, on cue crying there in the middle of the ring during this match, I thought was great. So if that's what she's doing down there, obviously I don't think she's like the greatest women's wrestler down there, but you tie up some of those loose ends, you got a solid act there. So I just want to call attention to that. I thought her selling and her acting ability, was really spot on in that match with Izzy Dame. I thought the story was kind of cheesy. It's just the typical, best friend stabbing someone in the back, and the ending was ridiculous. But praise and props to her. I thought she did a great job there. But that was Deadline, and I thought Deadline was better than Survivor Series, to be quite honest with you. Just with those 2 Iron Survivor challenges, I thought I had a better time with that than I did Survivor Series. Where do you want to go now, man? What do you want to talk about here? We could stay with the main roster. We could go and talk about what happened on Raw last night, and then get into the Cena stuff. Kind of mix in all these other news and notes I got into the WWE discussion. Yeah,
why don't we do that? Why don't we take it back to Raw and LA Knight's big night against the Vision?
Yes, LA Knight. He was the talk of the town on Monday Night Raw last night, and
he was the talk of the town coming out of SmackDown on Friday. A lot of very unhappy LA Knight fans.
Well, I mean,
Gunther.
That's their own fault. If you listen to us, no matter if it's on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you all know that LA Knight was never going to win this tournament. So you only have yourselves to blame. You set yourself up for disappointment. Gunther was always scheduled to win this tournament. LA Knight was given the task, and I would rather it be him than Jey Uso. We got a very good match between those two on Friday. But LA Knight was the talk of the town last night, and Logan Paul apparently is getting into a feud. He's got a problem with Rey Mysterio. He even made mention last week of the Intercontinental Championship. That's going to be the Vision's. We'll see what happens with that.
Good. You know what? At least he's full-time now. It looks like he's actually full-time, and that was always my biggest issue with him. And like,
I got a Logan Paul counter on my end, bro. It's 3 weeks in a row now.
3 weeks. I thought it was even more than that because I thought he was on television even before Survivor Series, to build up the War Games match. So it's been at least 3 weeks, maybe 4. And I'm not saying that there won't be a week here and there where he's not on the show, but he was making appearances for one program, and then when that match was over, we wouldn't see him for a few months. And so the idea of him being added to the Vision, I said, no, I don't want to see that, because unless he's going to be full-time part of this group and part of these backstage interactions and really kind of building up the characters within that group, I don't have any interest in any part-timers hanging around in the Vision or any other faction. So the fact that he's been around and now he's doing the stuff with Ray, he's talking about the IC title and he's in main events, great. I have no issue with him being a part of this group as long as he's around, because we have had so many part-time acts that it just gets tiring after a while when people disappear and stories sort of stall out and they drag things out at like a snail's pace because people just aren't around. And it hurts the shows. Like, it hurts the week-to-week product. So I'm glad he's actually there every single week.
Well, we're getting into crunch time. As soon as we get to January, it starts Rumble season and then into WrestleMania season. So I don't think he should be taking any time off, period. If they're going to remove him for a week, at least make a solid excuse as to why he's not there. But yes, he needs to be there every single week standing with them.
Yeah, he's moving and shaking. He's got a prime meetings or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. But like, the key is, like, don't disappear him for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's back. The key is consistency, and we've had that the last few weeks, which is great.
So it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor. Finn got the night off. Logan Paul attacked Rey Mysterio, beat him with the brass knuckles. Out comes LA Knight to save the day. We get an LA Knight Logan Paul de facto main event for Monday Night Raw last night. And the Masked Man appeared twice in this segment with Rey, Logan, and LA Knight, and then again in the LA Knight Logan Paul main event, which we'll get into in a second. But LA Knight, Logan Paul, this was the SummerSlam match last year, so it's just kind of cycling back to what they had previously had to deal with. And then we get to the main event, and LA Knight loses thanks to the Masked Man. And LA Knight then, Jason, gets beat down by the Vision. 2 tsunamis. He gets taken away. We'll get to the promo that Braun Breaker cut. And then in the back, they showed LA Knight kind of shooing away the agents and the referees. He says he's not done yet. So Logan Paul and Bronson Reed leave Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman in the ring to go to the back to take care of LA Knight again, powerbomb him through a table. And then we get a take on the Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed tsunami outside, where glass shattered and Bronson Reed jumped off a stone wall outside one of the venues last year. They basically ran that spot back, but less effective here because I enjoyed the Strowman one a lot more. But I see where they were going with this and what they were going for. But LA Knight got crushed as Bronson Reed jumped off some production crates onto the roof of a white rental car and tsunami'd LA Knight as Monday Night Raw came to a close. Now, the discussion is, oh man, LA Knight's buried. What do we got to do? Who hates LA Knight and WWE creative? Man, someone's got it out for him. Then there was a report today by bodyslam.net, and I think the guys over at bodyslam.net and their Patreon, some of them are really cool with me, so I enjoy their work. Apparently, they reported today that Knight is still considered a top player for the company. Sources indicate to them that 26 is expected to be a much better year for him. Knight is being positioned as one of the top babyfaces in the company. With him being involved with the Vision, it's only going to grow the crowd reactions in a more positive way. The company is aware of the reactions and want to play the long game with LA Knight.
The long game with 43-year-old LA Knight. All right. Well, I am reminded of because people pointed this out, and I said I totally forgot about this, but there was a WrestleVotes report last year, if you remember this, that Finn Balor is in for a big singles push in 2025 in WWE. So, you can pardon me. I mean, they do good work over at Body Slam, but I'm sure maybe they're being told that. But you'll have to excuse me if I will take the believe it when I see it approach, because to me it just strikes that LA Knight is someone who they can rely on because he does wrestle a lot on these shows. He may have more matches than most.
I'm gonna look it up. I heard you say that last night in your Raw review because
yes.
I was listening to it this morning while I was doing some work, and I didn't know that. And apparently, I wanted to look it up then, but I didn't look it up. So let me
look it up because I know him and Dom last year in particular, when they had more house shows, was like a workaholic. And remember, they had him working all three brands. I mean, he was working NXT, he was working SmackDown and Raw. So LA Knight, if he's not number one, he's got to be in that top mix of like most matches of the year. So it's not that they're not using him, but there's a difference between using someone with the idea that you have some sort of long-term plan in mind for where you want to get to with them and protecting them to some degree, and just using them because you have these other stories or you have these other personalities on the show that you're trying to highlight and get over. And maybe you're doing so at his expense, because it just seems to me like, yeah, you know what? The last few matches he's had, because he was in the tournament, he won those matches so he could get to the finals. And I think he beat Solo Sikoa in some sort of trick or street fight type Halloween deal, at the end of October. But he was in so many main events over the summer, feuding with The Vision. And I think he won maybe one of those matches. And it became a running joke where it's like, oh, LA Knight's in the main event. We know who's taking the L. We know what the L stands for in LA Knight. And that's my biggest issue with this, right? Because I joked last night, I put when Raw was over, I put the tweet up, the Triple H meme of him shoveling the dirt on the grave. I go, well, nice seeing you in 2025, LA Knight. We'll see you next year. But the reality is, like, when you beat somebody over and over again, and LA Knight talks shit, man. Like, he'll come out there, he'll cut these promos, let me talk to you, right? And he'll tell everybody what he's going to do to his opponent. When you go out there and you can't back it up, and you are branded a loser because you lose way more than you win, in a company, by the way, where we know they're very protective of the people that they want to protect. They don't really go out of their way to protect him. So I don't necessarily buy into this idea that, oh, we've got a big grand plan for LA Knight. Just you wait and see. Yeah, you know what? We'll all wait and see. But I'm not holding my breath on that, because they haven't demonstrated to me that he's really a priority for them. This guy has been super over for like 2.5 years now. And to his credit, despite the booking, he has stayed over. It's not really that the company has done anything to kind of keep him hot, but it's almost shocking to me that he is still as over as he is in spite of the booking. You can't tell me that Triple H and his creative brain trust there have protected him in the way that they protect other people, other men and women on that roster. They haven't.
Well, maybe they don't feel a need to protect him, and they're just abusing him because they know he's going to get the crowd reactions every time he comes out, which is fucked up to even think about, to use him and abuse him that way.
But at some point, he may no longer get those reactions.
I know. You're running a big risk there, yes.
You take him for granted. That's what happens. You take it for granted. Oh, look, he's still over. Okay, so we can beat him this week. We'll put Braun Breaker over him, and they'll put Bronson Reed over him. We'll put Gunther over him. At some point, you get branded a certain way, and you have this stigma that is attached to you. And, he's better than that. I'm not saying, put the WWE Championship on him right now. But clearly, there is no place for him in that mix. There's no place in him for that. I don't see him coming back, like reemerging at the Rumble and winning the Rumble.
Well, that was where I wanted to go, because I had said I opened my post show last night with that. And before I get into that, he wrestled 67 matches this year. It's a lot of matches for WWE with a cut house show schedule. So this is across PLEs, Raw, SmackDown, and whatever house shows that there are. He's 39 wins and 25 losses and had 3 draws this year. So there you go. LA Knight, 67 matches this year.
67 matches, but where does that rank in terms of, like, overall? Like, is there a listing of, like, who has wrestled the most matches on the main roster this year?
I'd have to look further into that, but in 23,
yeah.
He's wrestled 98, 74 matches in 24, and then 67 this year, which...
Wow, that really highlights, though, how they've slashed house shows.
Yeah.
Wow. And they're slashing them even more next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I said last night, I'm not the biggest LA Knight fan. I appreciate what LA Knight brings to the table, because he's a take on what we all grew up on. And
he's like a throwback.
He's a throwback. He shows you where he was influenced, and what he was influenced by is what we very much miss in pro wrestling. He's He's himself, but amped up. He's a character, but he's playing a character slightly, and he's an amped up version of himself, which I very much appreciate because that's the way I personally operate on here, to entertain you guys. The thing is with LA Knight, and to go and piggyback off what Jason had talked about, he is one of the tried and true guys there. He's not the quarterback. He is someone that the company leans on. He's someone that the company can trust in, and someone the company's going to throw out there in a mid-card and make it really good. A main event and really make it good. And he gets the reactions no matter what role he's playing. And that hasn't decreased. That hasn't dissipated in 3 years. This guy was on the fucking firing line when Vince McMahon was there as Max Dupree. He's lucky that Vince McMahon got ousted and Triple H took over. And now we're looking at LA Knight, because LA Knight, it wouldn't be LA Knight. He'd probably be Eli Drake in AEW, or worse yet, NWA still. We don't know. The thing is, with him, he was clearly written off television. For what reason? I don't have an answer. I'm a man of many words on most nights. I don't have an answer for this question. I don't. So it makes me, Jason.
Case,
yeah,
I'm saying it could be a case. We don't know. Or maybe he requested time off. Maybe he's taking a vacation.
Maybe he certainly deserves it. And if that's the case, then we all look like stupid idiots. The thing is, I feel like with him, I do think the company's taking him for granted. I don't think the company has big plans. Like what Jason said, we've heard this with a couple other guys, namely Finn Balor. I laugh at that report even today. You can't believe any of these reports. And I'm going to put my tinfoil cap on here. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I believe someone in the creative department has it out for LA Knight. I don't know who. I don't know why. But someone I don't think likes him. And I don't know what the case may be. And he's been very vocal about other people getting opportunities. I remember that one time a few weeks back where he took a fan sign and people were like, oh, look, he took a Jey Uso sign. And I forgot what it said, but it was kind of off script. And he threw it in the camera's face, and he was clearly frustrated with the fact that he isn't advancing where he feels like he should be. I don't know if he gets into next year, Jason, and goes into the Rumble, and if this is setting up for WWE to keep him away from the audience for a little bit, and the absence makes the heart grow fonder type situation for him to emerge in the Royal Rumble and maybe win the Royal Rumble next year. Do you see him at all being a possibility to win the Royal Rumble next year? And they use next year like they used Jey Uso this year. LA Knight would be the Jey Uso of 26. Do you see that at all being a possibility here? Because the WWE can't be fucking stupid to not pay attention to these reactions and then give him a payoff. Give him a couple of months as a champion. What harm could it do? I'm not asking for a 6-month title reign, but give the fucking guy his flowers. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, is it a possibility? Yes. And I will happily be wrong if he ends up winning the Royal Rumble, but you can't really fault me for sitting here and saying I don't think he's winning the Royal Rumble. Now, if he did win the Rumble, it would make more sense, I think, then for Braun Breaker to win the championship ahead of WrestleMania. But, like, do they see Braun Breaker against LA Knight as a WrestleMania, even a night one WrestleMania main event?
No.
That's the thing. Like, they really just haven't, for all the television main events. And there is something to be said for him getting all that real estate. Like last night on the show, he had 2 or 3 different segments. He came out to save Rey Mysterio. He was in the main event. He's been in a lot of main events. I understand that. And I'm not saying, oh, he's being buried in that, like he's not being featured. Or he's on main event and he's wrestling Tozawa. Like he's being featured on the shows. But for how over he still is, when you really look at what they have him truly doing, what is he really doing? Like what has he really done over the last 6 months, let's say? Like I've seen some, like in response to what I said last night, I saw some really just ridiculous tweets and messages and hate that I got. But like the one that made me laugh the most, and maybe we'll touch on the Mystery Man stuff now, is that he's the Mystery Man, Solomonster.
Yeah,
so
I
he's
had
going
that
to
in
be
my chat
revealed
last night too.
He's going to be, yeah, okay, good. So I'm not the only one. He's going to be revealed as the Mystery Man. I go, so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. He's going to be revealed as the Mystery Man who stomped him in the main event last night.
No way. No way.
And not only did the Mystery Man stomp him and cost him the main event last night, but then we go through this whole rigmarole of him taking a spear and taking 2 tsunami splashes. And then they attack him again in the back and they powerbomb him through a table. And that's not enough. Let's put him on top of a car. And I'm going to jump off a fucking equipment crate and I'm going to squash him with another tsunami. But it's all just to pull the wool over everyone's eyes. Like, there are people who honestly believe this. Like, he's going to be revealed as, like, the new member of the Vision. And he's going to, like, no.
Yes,
I don't know where people are
LA
getting
Knight
this from.
attacked himself to reveal himself as the Vision member, the newest Vision member.
Yeah, the brother beats himself, apparently. Yes, I guess. I don't know. But that one made me laugh. I'm like, so you're telling me he's the mystery man who actually stomped him on the announce desk last night? He's multi-talented, I must say. Like, where do people come up with this stuff?
The mystery man is not LA Knight. The mystery man is not Seth Rollins. And the mystery man certainly isn't Chris Jericho. I had someone reach out to me in the fucking Instagram DMs telling me, JD, I think it's Jericho. Why don't you think it could be Jericho? Because I mentioned it's not Jericho last night on my post show. I'm like, guys, are you fucking stupid? What is Jericho at 54 years old? How does he fit into the vision of the future of WWE?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
Mental?
I actually think there is a chance.
Don't tell me you're one of these guys too.
I think there is a chance that they may drag this out long enough to where Jericho could be revealed as one, because I think there might be multiple ones, one of the mystery men. The reason I say that is just because, first of all, I could see them wanting to really make a big splash with this reveal. That's number one. But number two, the only way this works is if essentially he has been recruited into the Vision to take the place of Seth Rollins as the elder statesman and the veteran of the group. So instead of Rollins being the one who's sort of mentoring and teaching these young men, it's Jericho. It's like a new learning tree. That's the only way that works, and that you could potentially make sense of it. So it's actually not as ridiculous as it sounds. I would not outright dismiss. I'm not saying that's what I think is going to happen.
I'm throwing out the gauntlet right now. I swear to God, if Jericho is the mystery man, that week he's revealed as the mystery man, I sit on this show with this guy and I wear a Mets hat for the 4 hours that we're live. How about that?
That's not saying much after the day the Mets had today, but nonetheless.
What happened now?
What do you mean what happened now? Fucking Edwin Diaz is a Dodger.
Oh, they signed that. It's done.
Yeah. Our closer, arguably the greatest closer, I think, in the game, has left New York and is now a Los Angeles Dodger.
Jesus Christ, man. That says a lot about that. Holy shit.
We have lost our closer who was electric last season. And it's not like we have anybody else to replace him. Evidently, so he got 3 years, $69 million. We were offering 3 years, $66 million. So what does that tell you? He's
another one of them guys. Yes, you got to be.
He didn't want to stay. He was looking for the exit door no matter what. Because if he wanted to stay, I'm sure they would have.
Bro, where's this money coming from?
This is what happens when you have all this money.
It's all that deferred money that they're not paying Ohtani. I tell you that right now.
You can buy up whatever you want. Unbelievable. So yeah, this is already a lost cause this season coming up. But
man.
So Jericho, as part of the Vision here, is not as outlandish as it sounds on the surface when you consider that effectively would be his role. He would be in the Rollins role and mentoring these other individuals. And you could still add another new member like an Austin Theory to it, and then you would have Jericho and the Bronze and Logan. But then at that point, you don't want to add too many people to the group. But you can honestly tell me you can't envision a scenario where Jericho is part of another faction and you have like Logan Paul in the group and he's sort of, cozying up to these guys and he's mentoring these guys. I could see that. I could totally see them doing that and Jericho loving the idea.
Sure. I don't want to see that. I think Paul Heyman is perfect enough for that role. I guess I don't
think we've ever seen Jericho and Heyman really interact on television.
No. I can't recall a time either, but I guess that would be a great way to get us that speculation we've been talking about. I don't know if anybody else has been talking about it. LA Knight versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. Maybe he.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been saying. That if Jericho does come in, to me, it's not AJ. I think his more likely WrestleMania opponent would be LA Knight. But then again, that would fly in the face of these reports now that they have these big grand plans for LA Knight coming into 2026.
Well, but before we get to the mystery guy and these grand plans, do you see a possibility? Maybe we're looking at the WrestleMania card all wrong. It is December. I mean, it's not too early to start thinking about it. I mean, it's only 5 months away. The thing with WrestleMania is we got the Cody and Roman rumor. We got Rollins hoping to be back by late February, early March. We don't know what the plans are going to be. We don't know what the plans are going to be. Punk could still realistically be the champion going into WrestleMania. Do you possibly see them putting not LA Knight against Braun Breaker? because that's not a WrestleMania main event at all. Do you maybe see LA Knight winning the Rumble and winning the championship from a CM Punk at WrestleMania? Maybe we're looking at it all wrong.
No, I don't. I think they're going to go with the big names.
Okay.
They're either going to go with the big names or someone like a Breaker, who's going to be the big name.
Yeah.
That's what I think they want in this big, Las Vegas WrestleMania main event, night 1, night 2. That's why you keep hearing about like some combination of Roman, Punk, Cody. Like, those are the names that we keep hearing about. There's a reason for that, right? Because they want the big names in there. They want the top guys in there. And I don't think that they see that as a marquee match. I don't think they see that. I don't think they see him, Knight, as part of that sort of elite crew at the very top of the card. I just don't. They haven't done anything to demonstrate that. For all the television main events he gets, that's very different than the WrestleMania main event, right? It's a big difference there. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's too early to tell, but it's certainly something that I mentioned on my end as well last night. The mystery guy, apparently, and very clearly, very evident, it wasn't the same guy that was at Survivor Series. This was a taller individual. This was a more leaner individual. He moved a different way as compared to the guy at Survivor Series inside War Games. So the speculation now, Jason, and I did mention this last night. You mentioned this last week as well. The guy underneath the mask that's playing this individual doesn't necessarily have to be the guy that they will end up revealing when the time comes. So they could use a cast of characters. It doesn't really matter. It's all who is going to be revealed, hopefully, on that January 5th episode of Raw next year. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, it's Austin Theory at Survivor Series. Last night I heard Montez Ford's name being thrown around as him underneath the mask, which would be, I mean, it would go. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
People are basing it all. I legitimately seen some people saying that's Montez Ford.
No, you know what I saw? This is how sad it's gotten. People were like, that's not Austin Theory's ass.
Yes.
So I know that's not him. And I'm like, who is studying this? Like,
oh my God.
I don't even know what kind of ass he has because I don't pay attention to this kind of thing. But like, apparently, like, no. It was too flat or it wasn't flat enough. I'm like, what are we doing here?
That is very bizarre.
It's very bizarre. So, but it doesn't matter anyway, because again, it could have been Montez Ford under the mask. It doesn't mean that it's going to be him when they ultimately reveal who this person is.
I mean, that would be quite the shock if it is him and they break up the Street Profits.
Dude, that's another one where, don't even get me started on that. Like, I thought they were actually going to take a stab at it with him 2 years ago, and that didn't happen. So I've given up, like, speculating about what they're going to do with someone like him. Are they going to take a chance on him in a singles role? So many of these guys, a year, 2, 3 years go by, and it's like nothing changes. It's like a hamster on a wheel. And everyone's like, well, in time, they'll do something with this guy, or they'll do something different, right? But it just feels like nothing ever changes. And like Montez Ford and the Street Profits, it's a great example of that. How long has he been doing the same thing as part of the Street Profits? 4 years, 5 years now?
Probably
nothing
longer
ever
than that.
seems. Nothing ever seems to change. Why are we supposed to believe that now, all of a sudden, things are going to be different? I would love for that to be the case, but dude, all of the speculation, like, there's no point in even talking about it because we could talk about who we would like to see in the role. Nobody knows anything. I think it was this guy. No, you don't know who it is. The guy was literally cloaked in all black. There's no way to know who it was. It could have been Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, right? They're the ones doing the... Are they even doing it anymore? Bravo and Delta or whatever the fuck, Rio, whatever the fuck their name was. Like, we don't know. We don't know who it is.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Dave Meltzer's original take. I think it's
Theory.
I think a theory. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Maybe they, yeah. I was gonna say maybe they could even get 2 people out of it, but you got the bronze already in Logan, so that's 3. You know what? I could see them 2 more, and that's where I would cut it off.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even go 2 more, but
5 total in the group.
5 total, no more than that.
Yeah.
So you could end up in a situation where, you know what they could do? They could do what AEW did at All Out 2 years ago. Well, actually, it was more than 2 years ago now, when they had Adam Cole debut, and then they had Bryan Danielson come out, where it was like everybody thought it was going to be Danielson, but it was Adam Cole. And then they hit him with Danielson a few minutes later. So you could have it where when the reveal happens, it's Austin Theory, and it's like, oh, all right, we all knew it was Austin Theory. But then like another mystery man like attacks the next week or later that night, and it ends up being somebody else, and we get 2 new members instead of 1. So they could kind of pull a little swerve on us like that if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean that would be up to them to have some fun, which I don't really anticipate them doing. But the thing is, with this mystery guy, I think the WWE takes the fans and the fan base for granted. I think they really think that we're stupid. So no matter what they did at Survivor Series, I think everybody knows the reports. Everybody's smart enough to know the reports. Everybody knows exactly what Austin Theory and his body type looks like, at least just underneath the hoodie and the way he stands, at least. Like he's got those shoulders. It's very distinct because there are a couple of pictures that you look at him just posing, and you can kind of make the correlation there. But a lot of people are like, that's Austin Theory at Survivor Series, so what does WWE do? They know everybody's kind of in sync with what's going on, and then they want to kind of pull back on that and make you second guess. No, it's not that. So they'll change the guy up. They'll have a cast of characters out there underneath the mask, whoever they want on a given Monday. It'll be a different person, and they'll make you feel stupid. So that's exactly what they're doing. They know that you know, and now they want to kind of, I guess, control the narrative now on who the masked man is. So it could be Theory, but we're going to see everybody that doesn't look like Theory from this point on until at least January 5th. So that's why they do what they do. They want to kind of control the narrative, and right now the fans kind of know who it is, and they don't want you to know who it is. So with that being said, Braun Breaker was in the main event segment, and he cut another promo. He told everybody that he was going to take CM Punk's wife, which is a very Scott Steiner thing to do. And I enjoyed the promo last week better than the one this week. But again, I reiterate from what I said last week, Jason, and I said, imagine thinking Braun Breaker's not ready for the top spot yet on Monday Night Raw.
But did you notice something very telling about that promo last night? Did it sound familiar to you? The promo he cut?
Familiar in what way?
Familiar in that it was almost exactly the same promo that MJF cut on CM Punk in AEW. It was before one of their matches, maybe their first one, and he was basically saying a lot of the same stuff where, like, I don't want this CM Punk. Yes. I want the CM Punk that I grew up on, not this corporate Punk. And it might have been before the dog collar match, actually. And he even made the comment that something to the effect of, like, this CM Punk talks about being straight edge, but he comes out looking like a meth addict or something. So it was like, oh, this sounds a little familiar to me. It was almost verbatim, the same kind of promo. But I mean, in terms of how he delivered it, yeah, I thought he did well. And again, that promo the week before was really good. This is the sort of thing he needs to be doing more of. And I think the more of it that he does, the more comfortable in that role he will become. And he's got a lot of that Steiner in him. It's a Scott Steiner type promo, even the way he delivers it. And Steiner's promos were sometimes didn't make any sense, but they were always very entertaining. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. And I think that, again, if it's up to me, I'm putting that championship on him, but I could see them wanting to hold off, especially if these rumors of him maybe winning the Rumble are true, and save that crowning moment for WrestleMania. But I think the sooner the better.
Yeah, in regards to that, WrestleVotes were the ones who reported Breaker's considered the whiteboard favorite, a term referring to the current working plan listed on WWE's creative internal boards. Wild plans in professional wrestling are always subject to change. It said Breaker's currently the specific name identified as the intended winner of the Royal Rumble as of December 2025. Now, I agree with Jason. God. What happened?
Corey says MJF is the masked man. Can you imagine? Oh my God. He's joking, but he's like, oh, MJF could be the masked man joining the Vision.
Listen, that would work. I would.
Oh yeah, that would work.
I would love that. I don't see that happening for at least a couple of years.
No.
But I am in agreement. I think we crown Breaker on January 5th. As of right now, I hope the masked man helps them take back the World Heavyweight Championship. And I think Braun Breaker winning the Royal Rumble hopefully is nothing more than just kind of one of those nuggets that gets thrown out there, and it really isn't what's going to happen. I don't know who would be privy to that information. The winner of the Royal Rumble seems like one of those creative plans that is sealed away in a fucking vault somewhere, and maybe 3 or 4 people know in the company. Why would anybody know who the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to be? You know?
Well, I mean, if they're filming stuff already for Unreal, I'm sure there's a lot of people who probably are privy to some things that are being discussed, and all it takes is one person to leak it. So, I mean, it's not that shocking. I mean, look, we usually get rumors like this around this time of year anyway. Sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't. I'm just thinking, though, to that championship match, if it doesn't go Breaker's way, whether we get the reveal of the masked man that night or not, like if it doesn't go his way, are we looking at a situation where maybe, you know, we get Vision interference, but like, is that where Roman Reigns shows up? You know, they seem to be okay with each other at the end of that War Games match, Roman and Punk. And is that a way to sort of have Roman counteract their, you know, attempt to steal the world title? And that could be maybe sort of an early seed planted for something with Roman and Braun come WrestleMania. Maybe that's how you kind of get around Braun not winning the belt without just beating him clean. Maybe there's some sort of because I'm thinking about the WWE Championship, and they made it very clear that we're getting another Cody and Drew McIntyre match. Now, they didn't tell us when. My whole thing is I think we get it on the first SmackDown of the new year.
Yeah.
Because we're getting a world title match on Raw on the first Raw of the new year. So it would kind of make sense to do one on SmackDown. If it works out that way, and we're getting 2 championship matches in the same week, I don't see both championships changing hands. So the question then becomes, if you only had one choice and you could change one title that week of the 2, which one would it be? If I had the choice, I'm putting the belt on Drew. I think it's more important to not beat him again. And I would say Drew beats Cody. And if we have to hold off on Breaker, then so be it. So then again, maybe Roman shows up, and you could do it any way you want. But just keep that in mind, because we may end up with more than one championship match that week. So as much as you want to see Braun Breaker win, do you really see them changing 2 titles in 1 week? Because I don't.
No. And if I was tasked on choosing one, I would probably go with the same thing. I'd probably belt McIntyre for at least 2 or 3 weeks, because no harm there to do that. And then he wins it, and then he wins it back at the Rumble.
Well, I mean, the Rumble, dude, he could even hold it on. He can even hold it until the Chamber, possibly. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be the Rumble, but I mean, he ain't going into Mania with the title.
No. And we don't even know what Cody's plans for WrestleMania are going to be anyway. It's either Roman. I mean, Punk is my favorite, but I don't see that happening. Roman or Randy, which we haven't seen since fucking SummerSlam. So we don't know what's going to happen there. But the rumor right now is Breaker, Punk, and Cody Roman at WrestleMania, and the rumor of Braun Breaker winning the Royal Rumble came from WrestleVotes this week, so we'll keep an eye on that. What other news on Monday Night Raw? Gunther had a promo to kickstart Monday Night Raw. He basically had 1 week to sell this match, and he won the tournament on Friday, beating LA Knight. So at the end of SmackDown, he basically promised to do the one thing that John Cena has vowed never to do, and that is never give up. He shows up on Monday, and he said he would break Cena's spirit, bully him, drop him on his head, wrap arms around his neck, and squeeze until the last bits of hustle, loyalty, and respect left his body. He says he's going to give up. So if you were watching Monday Night Raw, Jason, if you're watching WWE television this past, I would say 72 hours or so from Friday into Monday, you might have been thinking, well, John Cena has never given up in his entire WWE career. But WWE apparently loves to forget their own history. John Cena has tapped out 3 different times, and Gunther will not be the first to do this. So I have the names here if anybody wants to go back and relive some history. He actually visibly tapped out to Chris Jericho via a post-match attack on a July 4th episode of SmackDown via the Walls of Jericho. He had a singles match for the WWE Championship at No Mercy in 2003, October 19th to be exact, against Kurt Angle. He tapped out to the ankle lock. Chris Benoit, SmackDown December 2nd. That was taped in November. Number 1 contendership triple threat match, which included the Big Show. He tapped out to the cripple crossface. And then again to Kurt Angle, No Way Out, February 15th, 2004. Number 1 contendership triple threat match with the Big Show as well. And again to the ankle lock. So 3 official times in one Jericho post-match attack.
Yeah, but that doesn't count though, because they're talking about since he became the man and he won his first WWE championship. Everything before that just doesn't count.
Yes, this was heel Cena. Yes.
Yes.
So I mean,
no, but look,
that's what we're here for, to fill you guys in on the gaps.
But okay, but so when people say that they're upset that LA Knight didn't win or that somebody else didn't win and Gunther is boring, he's the wrong choice for this match. In many ways, he's the perfect choice for this match. Because this doesn't work if it's John Cena against another babyface. It's got to be the babyface heel dynamic. It's the hero and the villain, right? The all-American babyface against the evil foreign menace, right? Who comes out and talks about, the ring is the mat is sacred and he's the ring general, and that's what this match is. It's just sort of a classic pro wrestling story. I use the analogy that in many ways it's almost like the Rocky IV thing, where Gunther is Ivan Drago, and then you have Cena as Rocky Balboa. Although somebody said he's more like Apollo Creed. I said, well, he may end up more like Apollo Creed at the end of the match, but to me, it's like that Rocky story, and it just doesn't work with a lot of these other people. If you put him in there with Sheamus or with AJ Styles or Javon Evans or someone like that, it doesn't work. This is the story they want to tell. The one thing that Gunther has been doing and does in a lot of his matches, when he doesn't win with the powerbomb, is he submits people or they pass out in the sleeper hold. So he has vowed to do the one thing that nobody else has done to John Cena in 20 plus years. That's the story. And I think it's a good story. And I think that story is going to make for some dramatic near falls in this match. Because remember, like in the past, I've talked about this on my show over the years, and I think I may have mentioned it here before. The big fatal flaw in not doing John Cena and The Undertaker at WrestleMania was not doing it until after the streak was already broken. Had you done that match when The Undertaker was still undefeated at WrestleMania and Cena was like in his Super Cena phase, can you imagine how dramatic those near falls would be? Because everybody would believe, like, holy shit, Vince McMahon is going to have this fucking guy beat The Undertaker.
I look back at that, and the fact that we didn't get that, it seems ludicrous to me that we didn't get that.
Oh, it's an epic fail. So, but I use that as an example because I think in this case, maybe to a slightly smaller degree, but in this case, you may have a similar type of drama where every time Gunther he puts that sleeper on or he tries for some sort of hold or submission. And people know that this is it. If Cena taps out, it's his last match. That's it. There's no rematch. It creates this element of drama that wouldn't be there, I think, in a lot of other matches that you could have done with him. So I think he's the perfect opponent for him in many ways. And if you look at the body of work that Gunther has put together, why do you think he's going to go in there and have anything but a very good match, if not a great match, with John Cena? I think they're going to have a fucking great match.
John Cena is going to show up and bare his fucking soul in this match. Yeah. Like, imagine what he did with AJ and Logan and Sami Zayn on SmackDown. You don't think he's going to bring even more in this final match?
Cody,
this is the
last
time. Yeah, I mean, you don't think he's going to want to top that in his final match ever?
Well, I think one of the things, and I think one of the clips I did see from the Tom Rinaldi interview is that he did talk about how there was a point in his career where people were chanting, "You can't wrestle" at him.
Yeah.
And so instead of being like, oh, these fans, they're marks, they don't know what they're talking about, he looked at that and went, okay, what can I do better? And that's where he started to incorporate all these new moves. He went to Kevin Owens and he went to this guy and that guy and said, what can I do? And then they showed highlights of him doing the springboard stunner and him doing the code red and him trying all these different things. Don't be shocked if we see some of that in the match on Saturday, because this is it. Like, there's no other. He's not going to have another opportunity to go out there and do this. So
watch Cena pull out a fucking Canadian Destroyer on Saturday.
Oh man, I just hope he doesn't get hurt in his last match. That would suck. But I mean, look, it's like, this is it. Whatever you're going to pull out, it's now or never. So I do think we may see him doing some stuff in this match that we have not seen him doing in other matches on this tour that will get a big pop and a big reaction out of people that they wouldn't expect. I think it's going to be a really fun match. And at the end of the day, that's really the most important thing. Like, is this going to be an entertaining match? But then we get to the finish.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking with this opinion that John Cena should win on Saturday.
I'm in total agreement with you.
Yeah. And I know it goes against conventional wisdom, and maybe it's not, like, business-wise, maybe it makes more sense to do it the other way around. And Not that I'm going to be upset, like if Gunther wins. And look, they may have a WrestleMania plan. They may have a long-term plan for Gunther where he has to win on Saturday. Otherwise, the story just doesn't work, right? That may be the case. But I'm just looking at this and I'm going, man, this is just going to be so deflating if it goes any other way. Because I sure as hell don't see him tapping out. I think it's a great way to tease people that he might. I cannot, under any circumstance, envision him going in there and tapping out.
No,
I can't see it. It goes against it goes against everything this character has been about for 20 years.
People are not paying the amount of money they are filling 18,000 at the Capital One Arena on Saturday. They're not paying all that money to see John Cena lose in his final match. I'm sorry.
Well, especially tap out in his final match, let alone lose. I mean, he could always pass out, but even that, like, it's
fucking lame.
I don't think you want to give people that finish. It would leave a really bitter taste in their mouth.
Gunther at this point is so protected in a way that they have figured out the formula to still make him completely beast-like, even after losing to the likes of Jey Uso and losing to Sami Zayn. They made it work. I think there is an answer to this if he does lose on Saturday. All he needs to do, and I think we're pretty spot on here. I think he'll end up wrestling Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think that's what they're going for. All you need to do is do something in the Rumble where he eliminates Lesnar and Lesnar just goes ballistic, and then we set up a WrestleMania match with them at the Rumble for WrestleMania. That'll offset everything. Even if he loses to Cena on Saturday, have him eliminate 6, 7, 8 guys in the Rumble, and one of them be Lesnar. And Lesnar fucking snaps, and we get a match born out of that for WrestleMania. There are answers to that. There are ways around that if he does lose. I don't see him losing as a big deal. It's fucking John Cena. But the thing is, people are going to make sense. Well, Brock Lesnar beat John Cena in 9 minutes at WrestlePalooza, and then Gunther loses to John Cena in 25 minutes on Saturday. Man, what difference does it fucking make? Who cares? WWE has done everything to make you forget that match even took place in September.
As they should. As they should, because that match never should have happened to begin with. So what's in the past is in the past as far as that goes. You kind of look at this as its own living, breathing thing. This is its own story. And I think this story works best if John Cena wins. Now, it'll be a hell of a fight. He's going to get the shit chopped out of him. But at the end of it, I think he stands tall. And that's the right outcome for that match. And it hurts that we didn't have him on TV. We really could have used that one segment where they went face to face. And this is one of the great sins of him not having more dates, which evidently we could have had. And WWE said, no, you're not needed.
They also could have started the tournament earlier to a point where they maybe could have done the finals at Survivor Series, but what the fuck do we know?
Wait, but then you would have to add a 5th match. We can't do that.
Oh, God forbid.
Yeah, we can't. We're not allowed to do that. But we had this with AJ and Cena. They had a great match at Crown Jewel, but man, it would have been nice to have some television interaction with them, but Cena just wasn't around. He didn't have the dates for it. So we didn't get that this time, but you have Gunther out there and he's all smug and he's put the countdown clock up and he's telling us what he's going to do to him. For him to just march in there and do it, right? Just like what they did with him and Goldberg. I just think that would be incredibly lame. I just think it's a lame way to close things out with him. I think it would be the wrong move to make in this case.
He wins on Saturday. You know what bothers me? I mentioned this last night because I talked about this as well. And I utter the same sentiment as you. I think Cena should win. We were on this very show legitimately last December, and we were talking about who should John Cena wrestle in his final match. And a lot of the names brought up were Sheamus, Randy Orton, CM Punk, guys like that. And nobody had a problem with it then. We got those matches this year. The Orton match was okay. It wasn't anything to really go back and rewatch and relive. The Punk match was all right. It wasn't anything too great. It was serviceable for what it was. But now here we are going into December of 25, after the names that we just mentioned, and seemingly everybody has a problem with Gunther wrestling John Cena in his final match, and I don't really understand why. Now, if you look at the landscape of WWE and where everybody is currently slotted in, you got Braun Breaker, wrestling CM Punk and going after the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins is out with injury. AJ Styles is holding tag team championship with Dragon Lee. Cody Rhodes is doing his own thing. Who Sheamus is injured. Who else is there? Like, everybody wanted it to be a young guy Obafemi or fucking Javon Evans or someone that WWE would absolutely never in 1,000 lifetimes put on a marquee for John Cena's final match. They want it to be one of their guys. They want it to be larger than life. So I get who else is there?
There's only one other name that would have made sense and would have been a marquee name and it would have been a big match, but it only would have worked had they seen their original idea from earlier this year out to its conclusion. And that's The Rock.
Yeah.
And that was never going to happen.
Nope.
It was never going to happen. In a perfect world, if that heel turn was seen through to its conclusion, you would have had this whole story already mapped out where, he sells his soul, you go through the heel turn, Rock is around for most of it, and then eventually we come around to John Cena sort of waking up out of this spell that he's been under, and he comes out from under the thumb of The Rock, and it all culminates in a Rock Cena match with Cena winning. Like, that would have been the way to tell that story. Realistically, that just wasn't going to happen, though. But that's like the biggest marquee match they could have done, right? Rock Cena 3. I don't know that there were a lot of people who were kind of clamoring for that. I know I wasn't, but because I remember the first two matches, and the second match sucked. And the second match was 12 years ago. So, yeah, I don't need to see that again. But you talk about a big marquee match, that would have been it. And since it wasn't happening, like you said, there was no other real great option out there. Like, oh, this makes sense or that makes sense, short of running back Lesnar and Cena again, with Cena getting the win back. And how many people wanted to see it at WrestlePalooza, let alone on Saturday night's main event?
No.
I know I didn't. Once was enough.
I don't know how you look at Gunther come out with that new old theme music and his presence with this fucking repackaging of him coming on out, the boxing robe. How do you look at that and not get excited about looking at that, him being the quintessential fucking villain that John Cena has absolutely had to overcome for 20 plus years? I don't understand it. Gunther is a once in a lifetime villain, a throwback on the old school, and you want to sit there and complain that it's not Javon Evans or Obafemi or somebody that would never fit the bill in WWE's eyes for that spot.
Yeah,
what are you complaining about?
Who, by the way, are being, because of Cena, because by his request, are being featured elsewhere on that show. So it's not like they're being ignored. Like, Obafemi is in a pretty big match on that show. Javon Evans is going to be sharing a ring with AJ Styles on that show. So they will be featured because they are the future. I don't think they're just the future. I think, frankly, in Oba's case, they're the here and now. But they're the future. And so they will have a role on that show. But since we're talking about this, go ahead and bring up, because I saw the same quote from Cena's father, bring up that list of the names that John Cena Sr. floated, because I know he's in disagreement with us on Gunther being the right person for this match. He's no fan of Gunther being John Cena's final opponent. He had some ideas of his own.
Yeah, I also read a report that some people within WWE aren't too pleased that Gunther's getting the spot because they feel like he doesn't need it. That's the growing sentiment. Gunther doesn't need it. But then we can also counteract that and say, who the fuck else is there? There is nobody else, just the way the plans have lined themselves up. But John Cena's fault.
But here's the thing. When you say that he doesn't need it, I will bet dollars to donuts that most of the people, if they are saying that and they believe that, it's not enough for whoever they would have in mind to just go in there and wrestle Cena. They would probably want that person to go in there and beat Cena.
Yeah.
And I still maintain that would be the wrong thing to do. So, yeah, Gunther doesn't need it. Gunther doesn't need the win. But I think for the match, for the story of the match, he's the perfect opponent.
So if you guys don't know, John Cena's father was quoted saying that Gunther doesn't need the rub from being Cena's final opponent. He weighed in on the debate surrounding his son's final WWE opponent, and he has a clear stance on who it should be. Speaking to All Access Podcast, Cena Sr. dismissed the idea of Gunther being the one to end John Cena's in-ring career on Saturday night's main event. He says, and I quote, "Well, it certainly wouldn't be Gunther, that's for sure. I don't think that's a wise move. I don't think the fans would enjoy that move." This was said a few weeks ago. Gunther does not need the rub. And by the way, I'm not a fan of the whole on the way out, you've got to push somebody over the top idea. You're supposed to pass the torch, but I don't know if that's written anywhere in professional wrestling. If we have to use that as an analogy, then he's already done that with Cody Rhodes. He beat him for the title. He gave the title back. They embraced. Cody was teary-eyed. The torch was passed. Who else do I think he should face? I really wish that Kurt Angle was able to get back in the ring because that would be an outstanding last match for Cena and Angle. I say this all the time. I say this all the time. I really, truly believe that Baron Corbin should not have been Angle's opponent for his retirement match. It should have been Cena. So he's asking for Kurt Angle.
Yeah. He's asking for Kurt Angle, who could barely move around these days, that he wishes he was still in such a physical state that he could do the match. Sure, we all wish that Kurt Angle was still even the Kurt Angle of 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. But like realistically, he's coming up with this like fantasy list of opponents. I can come up with a fantasy list of opponents too. I wish we could see John Cena against Bret the Hitman Hart. I wish we could see John Cena against Stone Cold Steve Austin when he was still at his physical prime. But we can't. So he says it shouldn't be Gunther, but what option is he really offering? There's another name on that list, by the way. JBL was on that list where I believe he said JBL would make a great final opponent for John Cena. Really? In his final match, John Cena against John Bradshaw Layfield.
Well, good thing John Cena Sr. doesn't have any say what's going on with his son.
I was like, thank God he's not writing on that whiteboard in the creative meetings. Now, look, JBL was actually a pretty important part of the early part of Cena's run when he first won the championship. Cena won his first title from JBL, and I don't remember their WrestleMania match being anything great. But they had that match at, God, what was it, Judgment Day, right? They had that like an I Quit match. Cena was covered in blood. He looked like he just came out of blood and guts. Like he was covered in blood, and it was like the first time I can remember where he had that kind of match, that kind of performance, and the fans weren't booing him at that point. They were like fully behind him, and it was like, man, what a badass look that is, right? So JBL did his part back then. JBL should have absolutely nothing to do with any of John Cena's remaining in-ring matches. So he's coming up with this list of like, I don't know, fantasy opponents if it was a different time and place, but I don't hear him really offering a better alternative like in the here and now to Gunther.
Listen, the only other person, and Edge is not an option because Edge is not with WWE. And he's way too old. I won't even have thought about him because he's in his 50s. The only other person, and I'm curious to see what Jason thinks about this, the only other person that I would put in the ring with John Cena in his final match, and granted, he is a little bit older than Gunther, but not much older. If he wasn't injured and he was healthy and ready to go and on TV all year, Kevin Owens versus John Cena, what would you think about that being his final match? If not Gunther, Kevin Owens.
As his final match, no. I don't think it's his final match. I think it's definitely a match they should have done on this tour.
Yeah.
Like we got AJ and we got, absolutely. I would have loved to have, and that, I think it would have happened too. I think we would have gotten it. As his final match, I don't think he's the right person for that spot.
Okay.
I just don't. It kind of, and look, Kevin Owens is a great heel. He's a great babyface. So whatever role you need him for, he could have been a heel, like he was against Cody at the beginning of the year. I don't think that would have been the best option for his final match. I would have done it earlier in the year.
So yeah, that's the Gunther John Cena discussion. We're gonna get into the rest of the card in just a little bit, but let's quickly run through some of the other happenings on Monday Night Raw, which was an okay episode. It wasn't really anything to get crazy over. The women's tag team division is certainly taking a priority on Monday night, and there is news where WWE sees their women's tag team division, and I got it right up here. Internal reaction to the current state of the women's tag team division. This is coming from WrestleVotes. Given the state of the women's tag team division, which I hear has been internally received very well, all the work that the women on the tag team side have been doing with the Kabuki Warriors, Alexa and Charlotte, obviously now the pairing of Lyra and Bayley, the division has seen a revitalization with established stars pairing up to create teams. The top teams in the division right now, obviously, I just mentioned some of them. Rhea and Io is another one. Nia and Lash Legend have gotten together, and WWE seems to be focusing on this division. Liv and Roxanne apparently are going to be a thing. I don't know how long that's going to last. Maybe Liv and Raquel end up getting back into the swing of things. But the women's tag team division, Jason, on this show is really taking a priority. And I don't know exactly where it's going, but I would assume that we're going to continue to get this tension between all these teams with something happening on that January 5th episode. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it certainly seems like they're setting up for something big as far as the title match, at least, on that January 5th episode at the Barclays.
In terms of a tag team championship match, probably, yeah. But my bigger concern is that I think they're putting a lot of focus and emphasis right now on the women's tag team stuff because there's so many names that are in there, Rhea and Io and all these different people. And that's great in a way, but it's terrible for the main titles.
Yeah.
I think it's taking a lot of attention away from the Women's World Championship, from the WWE Championship on SmackDown. I honestly, like, at the same time, and Stephanie is still very popular, but like, I can't remember a time in the last few years in WWE where both women's world titles, like as far as what they have, as far as like the top story, the creative around them has been so poor. It's like they're being neglected in favor of these other stories and these other women that are doing these other things that have nothing to do with their top championships. Like Jade is someone who desperately needs a person to play off of. She needs a good, credible challenger. Why are we not getting any hints of anything with her and Alexa Bliss, her and Charlotte Flair? Now, maybe they will. Maybe come Rumble time, they'll do Jade and Charlotte. But in the meantime, I mean, it's like she comes out there and she does not feel like a big deal at all. She comes out, she looks great with the belt, but like there's just nothing going on right now. And then I look at Raw, which has a stronger women's division. And Stephanie Vicaire, she feels like a ghost most weeks on this show. Like we actually got an in-ring promo from her last night. It's been a while since we've had one of those. She's like a ghost. And then she's doing promos where they're kind of tapping into this online sentiment where it's like, oh, I'm more than just the devil's kiss. Well, really, why don't you let her show us? But when Nikki Bella's music hit last night, dude, I wanted to bang my head against the wall.
I groaned audibly.
She's like, I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me with this shit. And she comes out and she's like, I want my rematch. Like I've never cheered for Raquel Rodriguez this much in my entire life.
Did you see when she said that she's a Hall of Famer and she went up to some guy in the front row by the guardrail and he said audibly out loud, "No, you're not." Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that. No, I did not hear that. But now I'm wondering, like, so she's saying all that, she's talking all this smack, and then Raquel comes over and just knocks her out, throws her head first into the ring post, and then there's a shot of her just like sprawled out unconscious on the floor. Like, are they going to turn it into like a comedy gimmick, or like where is this going? Because one thing that Nikki Bella does not need is another shot of the Women's World Championship.
No, they're going to bring in Brie and have her go for the tag team title. That's what because they listen to you. That's why. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, great. Well, well, you know what? I'd rather that than any more Women's World Championship matches. Like I don't have an issue with Stephanie and Raquel, and then after that, if they want to do Stephanie and Roxanne, that's great. But that's what we need. And the same thing on SmackDown. They got to get something going around that title. Tiffany's been, I don't know where Tiffany is. Tiffany's been gone. I guess she's getting some time off. Bianca, we don't know where she is.
You know, don't you think Tiffany and Blake Monroe would be a nice fifth match on that show Saturday?
Yeah, but you know what? Like,
but JD, we don't need 5 matches, man.
It would just be very tacked on, though. I mean, Tiffany hasn't even been on TV.
I know. Another open challenge. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I hope they add another match. I don't know that that's the one though. It's almost like a mirror match.
How about almost, yeah. How about Ilya versus Ethan Page?
I would be in favor of a U.S. title open challenge where somebody steps up from NXT. I don't know about Ethan though. I don't know if I would do Ethan because it should be somebody who can go in there and get beat by Dragunov. So who would that person be?
How about fake Randy Orton down there?
You could do that. Is that going to be his name when he gets called up to the main roster?
I don't know, man. He's winning at life anyway, man, for other reasons. So it doesn't really matter.
I'm not saying he's not, but yeah. So that's my only hope going into 2026. We're going to get into Rumble season. We're getting into WrestleMania season, and it's great that they're finally giving some attention to the women's tag team division. But we also have to get something going with Stephanie. We have to get something going with Jade, and hopefully, whatever they come up with is, they put the time and care and effort into giving us a reason to give a shit about it, because it is ice cold right now, especially on the SmackDown side.
DOGG, call up Triple H and call up Jordan Grace. How about that? That's what we need, or
Make it easier.
several others down there.
Make
sure.
it easier.
So yeah, the women's tag team division took a spotlight on last night's show. We had the men's tag team championships. AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, and War Raiders. Okay, went 9 minutes. It was more about what happened after the match because the Usos are back together as a tag team, and the singles run of main event Jey Uso is mercifully, right now at least, over. So
That's the key word. Right now.
Yeah, right now. I like this move. I think this move benefits both Usos. Big Jim wasn't doing anything. Jey Uso is as stale as fucking 6-week-old bread sitting on the countertop. We don't need any more singles Jey Uso for now. The thing is, Jason, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a great move, as if this is going to help alleviate all the problems with the men's tag team division. This is not the answer to fix the men's tag team division. There's a lot more work to be done than adding the Usos to the division to feud with the fucking New Day again. I like that they're back together, but I said this and I was praying to whatever is above that I hope, and I hoped and I hoped and I hoped. I don't know if this is going to happen or not. This just may be me fantasy booking. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, I was hoping we're going to run through some of these teams, which is not a lot on Monday night, eventually get bored, go over to SmackDown, ask Nick Aldis for competition because they want to defend their titles, run through those teams, and eventually get to the tag team champions over there to a point where we come to WrestleMania and we once again just fix the tag team title problem and merge the titles again in a unification match at WrestleMania and call it a day. That's what I was hoping for, but it doesn't look like we're going there. So what I just mentioned is useless, but that's what I was hoping for.
Why would you think that was actually going to happen?
I just throw things out
Why
there
do you
like
do this to yourself? Why do you continue to do this to yourself? I don't understand.
know. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Masochist.
I don't know.
Here's what I think. I think we're getting a Jey Uso heel turn, and this tag team thing is just a very temporary, brief diversion. Because I'm listening to Jimmy last night, and he goes, I saw my brother crashing out last week, and I called him at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we talked about, what are we going to do here? And he said, we've been taking a lot of L's lately, right? And then he mentioned War Games, and he mentioned WrestlePalooza, but then he went out of his way. Jay lost the World Heavyweight Championship, and Jay lost in the John Cena tournament. I'm like, man, he's really putting his brother under the bus and backing up over him here. And I just wonder if that's the end goal here. Maybe they get a tag team championship match, and maybe they don't succeed.
So you think that this may end up resulting in Jay versus Jimmy at WrestleMania again?
With Jay as a heel and Jimmy as a babyface.
Okay.
Yes.
Could be.
So don't get too comfortable with this idea like, okay, this is the right thing. Jey Uso, thank God the singles push is over for now. For now. But I think it may be leading to another big singles match for him, but with him as a heel this time.
So are we not going to yeet anymore?
He may yeet, but it ain't going to be the same. I mean, if he's a heel, doesn't mean people are going to stop yeeting. I mean, Diesel went heel in '95, and people still slap the black gloves. So, I mean,
okay.
It could be one of those things where he's kind of like in between.
So, that could be the change he needs. I'm not interested in another match between those two, but I feel like they should be a tag team. I think they work best together there. I think them as singles is just wishing upon something that's never going to be. They're never going to be as big as they are together. So I feel like with that, it's going to help at least the tag team division for now. And it looks like we may be looking at an Usos, AJ, Dragon Lee tag team title match at some point. But again, listen, the New Day have gotten nothing going on. So, I mean, you look at the Usos, they're probably the New Day's best rival. Outside, I would say Luke Harper and Eric Rowan.
Did you not hear what they said last night? I mean, they were comparing. They were saying that it's the Ali Frazier of the tag team division, the Rock and Austin of the tag team division.
No, that comparison is thrown in a lot for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I wouldn't describe those two teams in their feud as that for sure. But the tag team division needs a lot of help. AJ and Dragon Lee, good for what they are. Not a real tag team. They're just two singles guys that Creative has nothing for individually. So they beat the War Raiders, retained the titles, and that was Monday Night Raw, really. A very ho-hum show. And we got John Cena on Saturday, which I guess we'll get into now. We talked about Cena Gunther. We both think John Cena is going to end up winning. The reasons why Gunther is the opponent, we touched upon that, talked about why he is the guy chosen. We talked about the tournament last week. No need to kind of go into that again. I feel like they could have done it a lot better. And with the rest of the card, we got Cody Oba. We have Javon Evans teaming with Leon Slater against Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. And we have Sol Ruka versus Bayley. So right now, there's only 4 matches. It's a 2-hour show. I don't know why for Cena's retirement match, they can't extend that to 2.5 hours and add a 5th match. Maybe they don't want to take away from the Cena-Gunther match because that's why everybody's watching and everything else is just an accent. But you do have Cody on that show wrestling Oba in an untitled match.
Yeah, which I think is probably going to open the show.
Yeah.
If I had to take a guess, I would open with it. I also think if it's a hard 2 hours and that's it, the Cena stuff, and they'll have their little Cena tributes, I'm sure, in between the matches, and I'm hoping we get some cameos. Maybe Batista shows up, maybe Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle should be there. I mean, they should have people like dignitaries that are in the crowd to watch, people that are in some way connected to John Cena in his career. So I'm sure we'll get some surprise cameos on the show. The Cena stuff, you would have to think from start to finish. I mean, that's at least an hour if you factor in a post-match speech, if we get one. Between the entrances and just the match itself and the post-match and then maybe a speech like Goldberg got. That's an hour right there, if not more.
Yeah.
So if they're 2 hours, that's it. We can't extend it anymore. That leaves 3 matches for the opening hour, including, again, Cody and Oba. And they're going to have their breaks in between the matches. So it sounds like 4 is probably all that we're going to get. But when we look at these matches, when they announced the tag team match last night, I was like, man, I kind of threw it out there on the podcast on Sunday. I said, man, if the wrestling gods are listening, I would really love to see is Leon Slater. I know he's a TNA guy, but let's do Leon Slater and Javon against AJ and Dragon Lee. So when they announced it, I was very happy. This is going to be an AJ and Dragon Lee win. I don't see them losing this match.
Could be match of the fucking night, honestly.
Could be one of the matches of the fucking year. I mean, look who's in there. Look at the match that Leon and Javon had at Bound for Glory. I mean, that's going to be on a lot of people's lists at the end of this year.
I seen some people saying that Leon Slater on this show is like WWE contract tampering. They're just because Leon Slater's contract is up at the end of the next year, and he's got a contract next year. I mean, doesn't it say a lot about
contract tampering?
I've seen some. I don't think they are. I've seen some fucking geeks on social media.
What do you think? They went behind TNA's back and they booked him for the show? Obviously, they cleared it with TNA, and now he had to back out of some indie appearances.
Yeah, WXW show that he was a part of because he had other commitments, and apparently he made commitments to them back in March. But this is John Cena's final match. Why would you not want to be a part of that show if you're actually a part of that?
Yeah, that's on WWE. I mean, I think even the promoter came out and said when he pulled out on us, and he didn't really give them the real reason, but they kind of suspected that this might be what it is. But they said we wish the WWE at least would have given us some sort of heads up on this, because it fucks them over. But on the indies, you're not under an actual contract. So TNA, they have talked about their partnership and everything's going great in their partnership with WWE. So yes, I'm sure they went to TNA and said, hey, we want to use them, and obviously they didn't have an issue with it. So that's not contract tampering. So it's going to be a great match. I think AJ and Dragon Lee are going to take it. You mentioned the women's match. Now, I assume, do you feel the same way as far as that goes?
Yeah, AJ and Dragon Lee are going to win, yeah.
Okay. Now, on the women's front, Bayley and Sol Ruka. And this one, because I'm looking at these matches, and I think you got to give one to NXT. And I think this is the one that they give to NXT.
I don't agree with you.
You don't agree with me?
No.
All right, well, I'm going with Sol Ruka to win this match.
I'm going Bayley to win this match, and I'm going Obafemi to beat Cody Rhodes.
Okay, so I'm going Sol Ruka to win this match, and I believe that Drew McIntyre is going to get involved in the Cody and Oba match, and we're not going to get any clean winner in that match at all.
Okay. Either way, I thought the same thing, McIntyre getting involved. And I think I had predicted Oba to beat Cody thanks to Drew McIntyre, but it could very well end in a no contest.
Well, again, Oba's a babyface.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if McIntyre gets involved and Oba wins because of McIntyre, even if he didn't realize that Drew got involved or however, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cheap.
Yeah.
And maybe it's better, not that it's better to get a fuck finish, but maybe Oba kind of sticks up for Cody after the match, and it all ends with them being side by side. So
yeah,
maybe
I'm looking forward to that. Outside of the Cena match, oh, I mean, this whole show is going to be great. I can't wait to sit down with this. But I'm looking forward to this. This is a huge opportunity for Oba. A lot of people are very high on him. I watched the Ricky Saints match on Saturday. He's very good. There's nobody that looks like him. He's very unique in his own right. I don't think he's there yet as far as the complete in-ring worker that they need him to be. I don't think he really needs to be because of just how big he is and he can work that certain style. But I think he's not there yet. Like to wrestle Cody Rhodes, I think that's the right guy for him to be in the ring with, and I think he's going to excel there. I think Cody's going to lead him to a good match, and I think people getting a glimpse of him in front of 18,000 people. I mean, this is a great stage for him. So I'm excited for that. And just Javon Evans and Leon Slater, the way that they've been linked up together. And we talked about this a few weeks back as well on TNT. AJ Styles has kind of said next year's his last year because he doesn't want to get to a point in his career where he starts to embarrass himself. He is basically an innovator for everyone in this match, and he can do everything that these guys do, and he's the oldest in this match. So like with what he said, this is going to be a true test to see how he could stand up. Maybe this, in some weird pro wrestling way, could be a way to change his mind. Maybe he doesn't retire next year. Maybe he says that he can hang with these guys. I don't know. That's what I'm going to be looking forward to as well.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's changing his mind. And I think he even told John Cena talked about that in the interview with Chris Van Vliet, where they were, I think it was right before their match at Crown Jewel. And Cena claims he made a comment to him in the locker room about, I hear you're looking to wrap it up next year. And, man, you could still go. These people respect you. And, like, would you be interested maybe in doing something similar to what I'm doing, like a retirement tour? And even just to that idea, he said like AJ was tying his boots, and he just looked up and he goes, dude, I'm 48. And Cena was like, he didn't have to say anything else because Cena's 48. He goes, I understood exactly what he meant. And he said, AJ was like, look, dude, like, I can still go in the ring and do it at a high level. But what people don't see is, like, the preparation for the match, the cool down, the recovery. There's a lot that goes into making AJ Styles look like AJ Styles. And it just sounds like, based on how he's talking, like, in his mind, he knows, like, people don't even know the half of it. Like, I can't do a full retirement tour, let alone stick around until I'm 50. So he may have a great match on Saturday, but it ain't going to change his mind. So, which is unfortunate because he can still go, at such a high level. But yeah, this card really, even with the 4 matches, if they don't add another one, I just think it's a good mix of old and new. And it'll be a good spotlight for some of these younger talents. And I just think it actually has the potential to be one of the best WWE shows of the year. When you factor in the emotion that's going to go into this being Cena's last match, this could very well be the sleeper show of the year when all is said and done.
Yeah, and this is something John Cena wanted. This is the only thing that he really wanted for himself all year. We'll get into what he said with Chris in just a little bit, but before we do that, there are some other news and notes here. We got update on WWE Library and the content after the Peacock deal. According to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select, Fightful's ex-WWE in an official capacity a number of times about the status of the library. They weren't given an answer. However, they spoke to a number of sources around the company about what they are to expect. Those that we heard from expect the content to be slowly rolled out onto YouTube and the various Vault channels that WWE owns. It is believed that because of the size of WWE's footprint on YouTube, that they likely have a favorable deal with Google. It is not expected that WWE will just upload the entire library. They've long been happy with the buzz that their Vault channels are getting and the return they receive financially. It's also internally viewed as a way to cultivate new fans. We weren't told of any real change to the Vault, just that there will be the possibility of more content appearing on those channels. Now, WWE Network was able to spin off NXT, documentaries, and PLE events into individual rights fees that have been very valuable to WWE. The library ended up getting packaged with the PLEs and Saturday Night's Main Event for the Peacock deal, and that element of the agreement is expiring soon. When people have spoke to Fightful from the company, they said that the library just wasn't the specific draw that many fans thought it was. It was a big drawing point initially and something great to include in the Peacock deal, but on its own, it wasn't likely to fetch high rights fee deals. Another WWE source said that if they get an offer for the library that makes sense, they'll reserve the right to take it with the YouTube method in effect. So right now, it looks like whatever you guys want to find, you're not initially going to find it, and WWE is going to slow drip it to YouTube and upload it when they feel like it's the right time to upload it. So you may get something along the lines if you're looking for certain Royal Rumbles. You know, WWE may do something around Royal Rumble season or WrestleMania season for WrestleManias and SummerSlam, so on and so forth. So WWE at their own discretion is going to take it to YouTube.
I love the Vault. I think the Vault is fantastic. I check it every day. But what people need to understand here is that if you're used to watching, if you're into the classic stuff, if you fall asleep to it, whatever, everybody has different reasons for watching it. Right now on Peacock, and I don't know how it is in other countries, I imagine the libraries are pretty much the same. Not everything is there, but you do have it organized by territory or by promotion. You have things like old episodes of Superstars, although not all of them. But you have all the old episodes of like Primetime Wrestling, or most of them. And that the thing about the YouTube thing is the key is slow. They're going to slow roll content out. It's not all going to disappear from Peacock and just appear on YouTube. So how long is that going to take? All the content that's up now to roll it out to YouTube, it's going to be a while. So there's going to be stuff that you're simply not going to have access to unless you go search for it piecemeal on like Daily Motion, or, you know, you may be able to find it in other places and maybe it's not the best quality, but that's going to be your best bet. So that's the downfall of doing it this way. Maybe in 5 years, everything's up on YouTube and it's great, but unfortunately we're going to lose access, you know, to a lot of this content. So you've got 3 weeks or whatever it is left to binge. If that's what you want to do, go check out all the different Coliseum videos or old pay-per-views that are up. On YouTube, when they upload these full shows, you also have to be aware that they're going to be editing stuff out that they may not be editing out on Peacock. Remember I mentioned that last week? Because they have uploaded shows where it's like they took out select things that are on Peacock or Netflix if you live outside this country, and they're not on YouTube. And maybe they are doing that to get ahead of any possible YouTube violation. I don't know, but there's going to be a lot of editing and they're going to be chopping a lot of shit up, which is not good either. So that's one of the downfalls of just putting everything on YouTube.
So with this Peacock deal expiring, what's happening to the NXT PLEs and Saturday Night?
It's staying on Peacock. That will stay there until March.
Okay.
And then come March, they haven't announced what's going to happen. So
they could end up on ESPN. We don't know.
ESPN, the head of ESPN a few months ago said that they would be interested if it became available, but having an interest in actually making a deal are two different things. And even if they make a deal, here's the other thing I'll mention. Netflix has the Raw Vault, because Raw disappeared from Peacock, I think, at the beginning of the year.
But you said it's a mess.
If you go on Netflix right now, if you want to pick out a random episode of Monday Night Raw from over the years, good luck. And it's been they haven't uploaded a new episode in 10 months.
Jesus.
If you go up there, there's a drop down, like a navigation bar. If you go to, and it's by year. If you go to 1993, I want to, and I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say it's less than 10 episodes that they have uploaded. And then like in 94, it's even less. And then you get to the Attitude Era and there's more, but we're talking like 20 or 30. There's no rhyme or reason for it. The only years I think that are complete are from 2022 until like the present. Who gives a shit about that? Like, are you going back and watching Raw from 2022?
Well, to be fair, I'm not going back to watch Raw from 1993 either.
Okay, but so I'm the freak here. I am sometimes. And so, but I may pop on there and be like, man, I want to watch that great angle they did in like September of 93. You're not going to find it. And there's no like logic behind why they just stopped uploading new episodes other than enough people aren't watching, so they don't give a shit. It's
why
not
are
a
they
priority.
paying $5 billion for this product and then upload sporadically and don't include everything that the fucking brand has?
I don't know. They're paying for this content and they're just not rolling. They're just slow rolling it out. I don't understand. And it's not even like they're doing it in sequential order. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So all that to say, like, if ESPN gets it, who's to say that they're not going to do the same thing? If Netflix gets it, forget about it. they'll put the fucking SmackDown library up, and you'll have like 2 episodes from '99. You'll have 7 episodes from 2001, and it won't make any sense. It just goes to show you, man, we really did not fully appreciate the network when we had it.
No, the network was fucking incredible. Like I said last week, it's the second, maybe third greatest creation outside of WrestleMania and The Undertaker for Vince McMahon. Truly innovative. But again, they have time. I would not be surprised if Nick Khan and company are facilitating a deal for the NXT stuff and Saturday Night's Main Event to land somewhere. You know, they're always thinking 18 steps ahead. So WWE's got a temporary home in YouTube. They could always throw that stuff on YouTube. The amount of money they're probably making on the YouTube channel is fucking money that we'll never see in 1,000 lifetimes. So it is what it is. So they'll end up somewhere. We just don't know where yet. And like Jason said, they have at least until March for NXT and Saturday Night's Main Event. The other news and notes here, Unreal. If you guys enjoyed season 1, you're lucky. Season 2 is underway with big storylines being covered. This is coming from bodyslam.net and their Patreon. WWE and Netflix have already allegedly completed a significant amount of filming due to the volume of events that have occurred over the last 8 months. The production crews have been capturing behind-the-scenes footage to document the company's big angles. 2 specific storylines were highlighted as focal points for the new season. The first is R-Truth's contract expiration saga, which saw him leave the company briefly after expressing displeasure online, only to return shortly thereafter. And the second will be Seth Rollins' dramatic Money in the Bank cash-in at SummerSlam over CM Punk, where he faked an injury angle before successfully cashing in at the end of that Gunther Punk match on night 1. No official release date has been announced, and sometime in 2026 is season 2. So if you guys enjoyed season 1, there you go. Makes me think, bro. Was that whole all truth thing a fucking work from the get go? Because I thought it was a shoot, or did they just turn it into a fucking work?
No, I think they fucked up, and now they're gonna try to make the most about it, you know, and turn it into something. Even though he's never on TV, so I mean,
no, he's holding Nick Aldis's balls on Friday night. So
right. So I mean, maybe that'll be the last scene of the episode of him with his balls in his hand. For a tournament he ended up not even being in.
Yeah. That's coming next year for you guys if you're interested in that. Also, coming to a TV near you, she's gonna have a big focus, be a vital part of the women's division. Apparently, according to WrestleVotes, is Natty Neidhart. WrestleVotes is reporting that upper management paid close attention to Natalya's excursions to various independent promotions. Her performance and character she developed during this period generated a positive response that did not go unnoticed by the company's decision makers. WrestleVote says, according to those we spoke to, we can report that Natalya's work as the low-key legend across several different promotions quickly caught attention of upper management, including how well it was being received by fans everywhere, both in person and online through social media. So they do pay attention to social media, you sly devils. Due to the strong reception, WWE made the call to bring in the low-key legend persona to national television. The report indicates that the company views this character reinvention as a way to reestablish Natalya as a key player. The decision then was made to bring the character to TV with hopes that Natty will be a vital part and a strong part of the women's division going forward. I mean, listen, man, I'm excited to see what they do with this because, A, the division can use a sense of realism that it's not getting from, a lot of the other women there. And B, a lot of people look at her as one of the real great wrestlers in that division. And if she can showcase that with actually being herself instead of some fucking mock version of the Hart Foundation and just living off her family's past glory and just be something that she is herself, I think that's going to work out great for her. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, she already tapped out, though, to Maxine Dupree in the vignette. So you gotta kill the gimmick already,
Yeah, I mean, you got to get ready for that Ivy in Denial IC title match next week,
Oh, my God. Did you, I don't know if you saw the promo during the commercial break when she came out with the Creed brothers last night.
I did not, no.
Yeah, so Byron Saxton interviewed them, and the Creeds walk in, and I'm like, holy shit, I couldn't remember the last time I saw them. And it just made me wonder, like, do you remember there being a period earlier this year where people were talking about Julius Creed in the way that they talk now about people like an Obafemi or Javon Evans. Yeah. And it's like, you don't hear about him at all anymore. It's like they've just vanished, like into the abyss. So when I saw them, I had completely forgotten they even existed. And I'm like, holy shit, you talk about someone whose like stock was here, and now you don't hear about them at all. Remember what Chad Gable said before he went off for his surgery? He said, you guys got to hold down the fort. You know, you got to win some gold. You got to, you got to do some things until I get back. And then they just disappeared, all of them. Ivy disappeared. The Creeds disappeared.
Well, what he really meant was, please save me that last slice of cheesecake and catering.
Yeah, make sure you grab some of those cookies so I can have some when I get back.
Yeah, I mean, with that tag team division in dire need of help, you would think the Creeds would be on television being built up in front of a national audience every week. But what the fuck do I know?
Boy, yeah, the tag team division could use them.
I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But Natty's going to be on television with this new character, so that's going to be a nice thing to see in that women's division. That's already locked and loaded. You know, maybe spread that well to Friday night, some of it, maybe. I don't know. AJ Lee, speaking of the women's division, you thought that she was back for a semi-full-time basis. No. The woman wrestled at WrestlePalooza. She wrestled at War Games. When do you think we'll see her next, chat? Do you think we'll see her on Saturday? Nah. You think we'll see her on that January 5th episode? Maybe. Royal Rumble is looking like the time that we'll see AJ Lee, according to WrestleVotes. Her next match will be the Royal Rumble. She will be a part of the Women's Royal Rumble. She's part of the roster now. They need 30 superstars. WrestleVotes says, yeah, she will be in the Rumble. I don't know, man. It's almost like they... And I don't know what her health status is, because I know they really kind of focused on that with the Becky feud going into WrestlePalooza with Rollins and Punk with the neck issues. We don't know how she's genuinely feeling. Maybe she can't wrestle as much as she wants, and she's back just to kind of put the kibosh on her career and just close that chapter of her career out the way she wants. But you would think, the way that we were sold on it, that she'd be there a little bit more than we're seeing her, and we're not really seeing her as much as we thought we were.
Yeah. I mean, she signed a full-time, multi-year, I think they said, contract. Mm-hmm. It's full-time in that, she's under contract to them. She can't go anywhere else, and they're able to market and merch her stuff again. So I guess maybe that's what they meant when they said full-time. Full-time merch. You can go buy all the AJ Lee merch year-round, and you'll see her every now and then. Look, it's probably the best role for her, honestly. It keeps her feeling special. She doesn't have to be there every week.
Yeah.
I think they have enough, especially on Mondays. I mean, they have enough women on that roster that it's not like, oh my God, they need AJ Lee right now. They don't, they really don't. And also Becky is doing this gimmick where she's boycotting Raw. So she's not even on the show at the moment. We don't even know when she's going to be back on TV. So when she's ready to come back, and maybe it's around January 5th, but when we see her back, we'll see AJ back.
We got a TNA news and note here as far as their debut on AMC, which is taking place in the middle of January. Apparently, TNA wants a certain WWE superstar to wrestle on their first AMC broadcast. Now, I wonder who that is. Will they get that wish? Probably not. But they want, according to Meltzer, they want AJ Styles for the premiere. One WWE source indicated that TNA would like to have AJ Styles wrestle on their first show. Meltzer said it would certainly make sense to deliver a strong rating, and Styles himself said he'd like to do a match in TNA. It's always been up to WWE, which did allow Styles to do non-wrestling appearances at the Slammiversary show at the UBS Arena in July, but did not allow him to wrestle on the show. If approved, the likely opponent would be the current TNA World Champion, Frankie Kazarian. The only thing is, Jason, Frankie Kazarian, if I read this correctly, is already booked for a World Championship match against Mike Santana on that show. Am I correct in that?
I believe so.
Okay, well, there you go.
I believe they're doing some kind of gimmick where I think they're doing that match, but then Nick Nemeth has the Call Your Shot trophy and will use it against whoever wins, I think, later that night. Is that my understanding of what they're doing?
Oh, I didn't know about all that.
I believe it's something like that. And they have a pay-per-view 2 days later. So, I mean, their Genesis show is literally 48 hours later. So then I was thinking, well, maybe they would want to save the Mike Santana title match for the pay-per-view. And then instead, if they can get AJ, it doesn't even have to be a singles match. I mean, they could do AJ and Mike Santana as a team, against Kazarian and somebody. Maybe Kazarian and Nemeth. So apparently they're not doing that. It's nice to have goals. I mean, if they want AJ, I'm sure they do. Are they going to get him? That's a whole different question. I mean, hey, why not aim even higher than that? Why not go to them and say, hey, we want Brock Lesnar on our first AMC show?
You think Roman Reigns could give us one of his appearances for TNA on AMC?
You think the tribal chief could show up? We'll put him in the ring with Moose on our first AMC show.
Yeah, sure thing. Sure thing. Carlos Silva. Yeah, keep wishing, bro. So yeah, that's the news there. We got this John Cena interview. We'll end with this and we'll round out with this interview, which I thought was a very good interview with Chris. I know Cena's been everywhere. Tom Rinaldi from ESPN, they uploaded that on the WWE YouTube channel. I tried to watch that today, but to be honest with you, I told Jason in the sound check, I wanted to see if there was anything different. And within the first 15 minutes, I got like 7 ads, and nothing really came across as any different than what I got from Chris. And then I was told that he was on Joe Rogan's podcast 4 days ago, and I didn't even know that, so I didn't even bother listening to that. But a lot of you guys told me it was more about like real life and political, and you know, I listened up to the point where Joe Rogan says he would love to have Vince McMahon on the show. Which, you know, if that's the case, that's something to look out for, because I could see that very much happening. But John Cena did come off, I think, in the first 15 minutes of that interview with Rogan.
Why though? The whole interview would be WWE.
Well, Tony Hinchcliffe was on the show then, sitting next to Cena, and he said, if I had my wish list of guests on this show, Vince McMahon would be number one. So I'm like, yeah, let's give Tony Hinchcliffe what he wants.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would love that. But like, have you listened to Vince speak these days? Like,
no,
he doesn't sound like the Vince McMahon of old. I mean, it's a little hard to understand him sometimes. You know,
what would he say to Joe Rogan that we haven't heard already?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I always looked at him before all the controversy and everything. I always looked at him and said, man, if I could believe the things that he would say, if I thought he was an honest representative of the truth, what an interesting book he could write one day. But he's in that same realm as Hogan, where, you know, it's going to be his own version of history. He's never going to be fully honest and open about the things I think that fans would love to know about. And it's like, well, you know, he would have an interesting story to tell because he's the most successful promoter that ever lived in the business. But I mean, I don't know that I would believe a word out of his mouth. And now I don't know that I would understand a word out of his mouth.
No, we're not going to believe anything Vince McMahon has to say ever again. So
WWE.
I gotta go listen to a recent clip of Vince McMahon to see if he sounds like.
It's hard to listen to. Like any of the. Well, okay, so they did the Netflix thing where he was interviewed.
Well, I mean, I didn't think he sounded that out of the ordinary there.
No, he didn't sound good.
He don't look good either.
I mean, he's still in shape, but
sure.
I mean, he looks like Pepe Le Pew now. So
John Cena on Chris Van Vliet. He did touch upon how he feels going into his last match. what happened in the chat? What happened in the chat?
Look at Luca.
Luca, I missed the egg. The egg was special.
He did 30 minutes about his fucking egg from Survivor Series.
My egg.
The golden egg. Yeah, we had an egg hatch at Survivor Series once too, pal.
Oh, man.
Fucking egg.
He talked about how he feels going into his final match. Obviously, you know, he gave the most non-canon answer he could give. I'm not going to go over what he said. You know, he's just very appreciative of how everything came to be. How he pitched the farewell tour, he talked about with Chris as well. He said, we have two options. At 48, I feel I can compete using magic, hocus pocus, and all the tricks and wisdom I have. But the pace of the product has passed me by. I either post I'm done, which is a post, or I can pump the brakes on all other activities for the year and dedicate this to being the last year. I know it hasn't been done, but this is what I think could possibly happen creatively. He goes on to say that I'm very happy that they bought what I was selling, and I think I would say everyone internally is happy, and I would say everyone externally has had an opinion about it. We certainly have, Cena. We certainly have. You got StreamYard show up. Your countdown is there? Stay in studio, StreamYard. Fucking AI bot never gave me any solid answers on how to fix that.
It's just like, we'll pay you. Like, you just tell us how to fix this. It's like, no, there's nothing you could do.
So he said, everybody externally has an opinion about it. Yes, we do. Which he said is good. Here we are in early December looking forward to the 13th. I don't think there's any apathy out there. I know people are critical of it. Some people may be upset. Some people may be overjoyed, but there isn't apathy. I don't think, well, I think that means we did okay. You know, I think we needed to be more than okay for who we're calling the greatest of all time here by WWE counts. We just can't be okay with what we've gotten this year. I think we needed it to be fucking out of this world fantastic. You only get one of these. And when was the last time, Jason, we've had a legitimate, retirement tour? I think the last time we did it was Ric Flair, no?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there hasn't been another like actual, and even that wasn't really a tour so much.
No, it was like a season.
Well, it was like a storyline they did where like the next match he loses, he has to retire, and that went on for a few months.
Yeah.
But it's weird, like they don't really, I can't think of too many examples where they've done like some full-blown retirement tour. And now this is all we're hearing about. Like John Cena is retiring, AJ Styles is retiring. Chris Jericho, they supposedly want him for a retirement run. Now we're hearing that Brock Lesnar may be retiring next year, which I don't know if he'll ever fully retire. But again, we've joked about like it's turning into like the greatest retirement village in all of wrestling with all these people that are just like at the same time. All these people that we kind of grew up on watching are of that age now where they're slowing down. They maybe want to, call it quits. And now WWE can cash in. And they can either have a retirement tour or they can market some big retirement match and make a lot of money off of it. And then you see what they did with Cena. And I'm not saying that everything they did with Cena was terrible, but clearly this retirement tour left a lot to be desired. Do we have the full faith and trust in them to do right by all these other people on their way out?
Well, that, and are they going to give as much attention or care, not like they gave Cena a lot of care, because a lot of this was fly by the fucking seat of their pants type nonsense. Are they going to give the same amount of attention and care to someone else who may want a retirement tour, like a Jericho? Are they going to put a lot of effort into that? I don't think they're going to put more effort into that than they did to Cena. So
No.
it's like it's going to be half-assed either way you look at it.
Yeah. And I mean, apparently AJ doesn't want a full tour. So if AJ's hell-bent on retiring, it may literally just be a program going into WrestleMania or a program going into SummerSlam. I don't think it's going to be a full-blown tour. Look, even Jericho in the past has said, I don't want a retirement tour. Like, I remember him, it must have been on his YouTube channel. I remember him once saying that he would love to just sort of quietly fade away.
Yeah.
Like he wanted the opposite of a now this was him years ago saying this. Maybe his tune has changed. So I don't even know that there's anybody else I could think of that they would either give a full tour to or that would even want one. Like Brock's not going to have I'm going to have my retirement tour. Like, no, he'll show up for like 3 matches or whatever.
Well,
So
if you're Cena, you kind of low key just told everybody when Brock Lesnar potentially is retiring in this interview.
Yeah. He mentioned Minnesota next year, which is where SummerSlam is.
Yeah.
And again, that doesn't mean that it will be. I don't know. I just see Brock as one of those guys where it's like, even if it's every now and then, if there's a nice payday involved, or Saudi Mania is coming up in 2027, and if they want Brock Lesnar on the show, do you really think Brock's going to be like, nah, I'm good?
No, he's going to take the money.
No, I mean, if he thinks he can still do it and physically he still looks great, then of course he's going to take the money. I don't think he's going to retire, one big match next year and that's it. Like, I don't see that. I don't see that at all.
No, in Jericho's case, or anybody else that may want a retirement tour, I don't know what they may be thinking mentally. Like Cena is just a different animal. He had 36 dates. He knew when his final date was going to be. I don't know how any other people are going to look at that. Like I mean, Jericho's got Fozzy. A lot of other projects. Some people just may want to rip the Band-Aid off. Like, I don't want to wait and see this date hanging all over my head on the fucking calendar. Like, just rip it off and just let me be done with it.
Yeah, but that's the other big thing is that Cena has this whole other lucrative career that he will now throw himself into. AJ Styles, he doesn't have Hollywood. I mean, he's talked about, I'll probably stay with WWE. Maybe I'll be like in a coaching role. I want to contribute in some way. But it's not like a lot of these guys, and Jericho does, but a lot of these guys don't have this other big thing to fall back on like Cena does. So their perspective may be a little bit different. Cena can turn around and be like, you know what? I'm not feeling too great physically. Yeah, I'm going to call it quits at 48 because he could work in Hollywood for the next 20 years. Other guys don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
You know, this is how they make their money. And a lot of those guys are making millions of dollars a year. It's hard to say no to that. Like, and that's why so many of these guys, when it comes time for them, they say, oh, I'm not going to be wrestling when I'm 50. And many of them do. Because if they're making really good money, dude, it's hard to be like, I'm going to give all that up. Their attitude, and it would probably be my attitude, it's like, this is like prime time for me to make as much as I can while I can make this kind of money. So maybe a reduced schedule. Maybe we'll do the part-time thing, but like, shit, if I'm making money like this, I can't make money like this anywhere else. I'm not going to quit now.
Yeah. I don't really care to see another retirement tour. Period. After this, I'm done. I don't want to see one with Jericho. I didn't really care to see one with Styles when he announced he was going to retire next year. I don't care. Just give me a nice story, let it play out, give him his dues, and goodbye. So after what we got with Cena, I'm kind of done with it. Just end it when you need to end it. But as far as the schedule, Cena went and told Chris that this thing was 3 years of planning. So by 2022, I knew I had a lot of opportunities outside of WWE, and those are very difficult to balance, not just because everywhere, like the first half of this year for the first tour, I was flying back and forth to Budapest, to Morocco, making PLE dates. The day I announced January 6th, I left to land in Budapest to shoot the next day. That's scheduling. The biggest hurdle to climb is insurance, and insurance is super pricey. Every date, the cost goes up, whether it be $500,000 or $1 million. And then Chris asked, because you might get hurt. And then Cena says, because you're doing a picture and you're being like, hey, I have Saturday off. That's the thing a lot of folks don't understand. It's like, but you have the weekends off. You can do this wrestling thing. Or they can shoot Tuesday through Saturday if they want. You can do every Monday. You're right. But the liability of, hey, I'm doing this action movie and then I'm going to go do choreographed action, but with a high variable that I could get hurt. If I get hurt, I can't come back to shoot. Or I get my nose broke, or if I get a black eye or something, we've already captured those moments on camera, and now I got to stop and wait for the thing to heal before I can shoot another frame. So that's something that I had to learn the hard way. My schedule is open. I can do it, but it's an insurance thing, and this is what it costs. So trying to get a studio to leverage that, to let you go play stuntman is impossible. You got a lot of times you got to come out of pocket, and that's a tough balance. So he basically gave everybody, all the fans, wondering, well, I mean, Monday's open. He's not doing anything Monday, but he's filming these other days. This is why we don't see The Rock when we want to see The Rock. And The Rock is in a bigger position than John Cena in Hollywood. You can imagine what his insurance prices are going to be. He basically gave the answer that everybody's been wondering, like, why can't they show up here, but they're doing this over there? He's got time to do it. He just told you because of the scheduling and the insurance and what it costs. And sometimes it may be out of pocket. So it's something that they have to maneuver around.
But he also said in multiple interviews, I think he may have said, I haven't seen the full thing with Chris yet, but, you know, commenting on the number of dates where he ended up having 36 dates this year. Mm-hmm. But what he wanted to do a full calendar. He mentioned 220 dates. Dude, I'm not even sure the main roster has 220 dates anymore.
He's thinking back fucking 15 years ago.
He's having PTSD from like 10 years ago when these guys were on the road all the time. But he's like, that's what he wanted to do. That was the original idea. And he realizes now that would not have worked out well for him. It would have been just a disaster. But that's what he wanted to do. And he says that WWE was like, no, we only need you for 36. And I'm like, you couldn't meet somewhere in the middle? Like, I think it would have been perfect if they had him for like 50 or 60.
Yeah.
Because then he would have been able to hit more cities. But then we would have had him for some of these matches where, oh, man, I wish he was on TV to help promote it, right? Yeah. We didn't have him around, like going into SummerSlam. We had him for like one SmackDown. We didn't have him at all leading up to Crown Jewel. We don't have him at all leading up to this weekend. If what he says is true, and we're not missing something in translation here, if you're WWE and TKO, how the hell are you going to John Cena and saying, no, we only need you for 36? Like, dude, do you realize the reason they sold out many of their shows this year was John Cena? Like, there's a lot of shows where they probably would have done well, but not as well, you know, but they had John Cena on the card that they were able to advertise.
What are they going to do when Cena's not there next year?
They're going to be in trouble. They're going to have to work extra hard. Not that they're going to be, putting 1,000
They
people
need
in the
some of that.
buildings,
They need
but-
some of that LTB. Honestly,
Well, I was floored when I read that. Like, how did they settle on that number?
well, he did say here. Okay, in 2022, what if we outline 25? Because he said that they had 3 years of a head start to lay the groundwork for this. All right. Why do you want that? Because I won't be able to do it physically past 48 years old. So in 2022, we kind of laid the groundwork for this idea. And then in early 23, we pitched to TKO. We pitched the idea of a year. Call it as you see it. And again, lead with this. I think it's worth this. But you can think it's worth whatever. Please allow me to bet on myself. You want to run on incentivized contract. I want to do this, and I want to make everybody win. If you put down $1, I want to give you back 10. And at the same time, I want to give everybody out there a run for their money. Like, we're really going to go for it. I will do my best not to suck. I am not going to I'm not going to go and do the 5 moves of doom. I think we can do something really special. And they bought it. But it also takes a while to put that through the engine. So as soon as they bought it, like in mid-early 2023, now I'm like, okay, give me a list of all the possible cities I got out. 60 cities put on my desk, merchandise, uniform for everybody, because I know it takes like 9 months to clear IP design to get in production. Hats and wristbands take longer than T-shirts. When I announced in Toronto 15 months out, we were like lasered in for everything. So we had every city, every potential city. Cool thing about the uniforms is they became awesome because we did so many. I actually, no kidding, did 17 extra. And I'm trying to get Fanatics to release the Never Seen 17 merch. Houston's on there. Sacramento's on there. And then Chris gets into the heel turn. And he asked, was the heel turn planned in all of this? John Cena said, no. That stuff you see on Unreal is real. We need to make the chamber big. So let's do something that'll shock everybody. Hey, man, we've got this idea. No problem. I'll do the best I can. Am I excited about everything? I like the riddle. You see my stuff. I'm not exactly the most gifted athletic performer. I gave you all I got. And then we'll get into what Chris asked about how he felt about the turn and the months that followed. What is so damning here, Jason, is the fact that Chris asked him, was the heel turn planned in all this? And he said no. Yet Cody, I know we documented this. Cody was interviewed via Las Vegas publication and gave a very cryptic answer. You guys are going to be very excited about what we got planned for WrestleMania.
This was in October last year.
That was in October. Now, I don't know what he meant by that. Maybe he got wind that it may be him and Cena, and he didn't have any idea of the heel turn. I thought, and I think we both thought, that maybe they were kind of tipped off about the heel turn then, and that's what he was so excited about because it's a different take on Cody and Cena going into Mania. Now we don't know. He said here, no, none of that stuff was planned. Like, you and I have discussed, how the fuck do you have a John Cena heel turn for this year, or a John Cena for retirement year, and you're flying by the zipper of your pants, not having a fucking plan on turning the biggest superstar maybe in your company's history, and a long-awaited heel turn that the fans have wanted to see for so many years? How you go about that and have no plan about it? Like, how do you openly admit that and okay with that?
It was very clear from watching everything earlier this year that they had no plan for it. We didn't really need John Cena to tell us that because we kind of already knew the answer. But it still blows your mind. Somebody as important as him, and you had all of this advance notice. They very clearly did not have, I don't want to say they didn't have anything mapped out, but they did not have a really solid plan mapped out, or else they wouldn't have just sabotaged it to come up with this other idea that's so great. Like, that's how it all played out, exactly as it was rolled out there on Unreal, where Triple H had this idea, what if we turn Cena heel? And remember that graphic with the different people he was going to call on the phone? I'll run it by The Rock.
Yeah.
And I'll run it by Travis Scott. And I'll run it by Cody. And John Cena was like literally the last person that they ran it by. Why? Because they know he'll say yes to anything. He's probably the easiest person in the world to work with. He's not going to say no. So they ran it by him last. And he's like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. So now they have to pivot to a totally different idea. We get this incredible angle right in Toronto at the Elimination Chamber and gets everybody's hopes up for what this could really look like going forward. And to Chris's credit in the interview, and I did see this clip, Chris asked him about it. Like, basically about his thoughts, like what was the original plan for The Rock and Travis Scott. And Cena gave the most bullshit answer. And I know why he gave it.
Bro.
But he gave the most bullshit answer by saying, who cares?
That was the one part of the interview I'm like, what?
He says, who cares?
It doesn't matter, he said. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Who cares? I mean, dude, they did the whole fucking documentary about it. I would say that there were a lot of people who cared. But what was really going on with that answer is that he knows what went wrong. He knows that The Rock, for whatever reason, chose not to or was not able to really see this through to what should have been whatever the conclusion of the angle would be. He would have to be around for it. And he's trying to be diplomatic about it, and he doesn't want to throw him under the bus. But he's not stupid. So he knows, in terms of The Rock, in terms of Travis Scott, things happened. They were not around in the way that maybe even he expected they would be. Because think about it, if Cena is telling the truth and they come to him last and they have this idea, he has to be thinking in his mind, there must be some plan for where we're going to go with this. Right? Because he himself, and I don't know that it was with Chris, it might have been in the other interview that he did with Bill Simmons. Actually, it wasn't the interview with Bill Simmons. And that's the one that got me hot. Where he's openly talking about it takes 5 years for a guy to get over.
Yeah, he said the same thing here.
And then it takes a year or two if you're going to flip him from like babyface to heel, right? To really get people to invest in it. And I'm like, okay, if you believe that, and we take you at your word that what you are saying you believe in, then you knew that this wasn't going to work. Yeah. So why did you say yes?
Yes.
Why did you say yes? If he honestly believes that, and he said it in the Simmons interview, like, we just didn't have enough time to tell the right story. But then you would have known that when Triple H called you on the phone and pitched the idea. So why don't you say to him, that sounds cool and all, but just the time is not right for it. I don't think we're going to have enough time to tell this story. He didn't do that. He just went along with whatever they wanted him to do. So either he's bullshitting us or what? What's the other answer here? I don't know, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense if he honestly believed that he was not going to have enough time to tell that story. That's a pretty big creative pivot. And you just said, sure, let's do it. Let's go for it. Because I don't think at the end of the day, not that he doesn't care about like the work he puts in, but I think he knows, like, I'm done at the end of this year. He's got one foot out the door. He's got his Hollywood career waiting for him. And so if this is what the company wants to do, if this is what Triple H and everybody is excited about, sure, I'll be a team player and I'll go along with whatever you want me to do. But that tells me that John Cena in March knew that this was not really going to work. And that's bullshit.
What I don't get, and what very much still bothers me today, is the fact that Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, whoever called The Rock, wanting something big to happen at the Elimination Chamber. Meanwhile, we didn't need anything big to happen at the Chamber because Cena was on the card. He was in his final Chamber. This is his final Mania season.
Well, no. Well, they wanted something big to happen at the Chamber because they needed to sell more tickets.
They needed to sell an extra 8,000-9,000 tickets for this show. Yes,
that's why they did it. So in their mind, to meet whatever their benchmarks were, whatever their goals were, it's like, okay, we're a little light on the ticket sales here. So we have to come up with something that's going to generate a buzz and is going to generate interest and sell these extra 7 or 8 or 9,000 tickets.
But as a fan, that bothers me because the greed of the company has now overtaken the greatest performer in their company's history to their standards for like the last 22 years. You make a moment and you only do it for the moment with no plan to follow it up because you wanted to sell an extra 8 or 9,000 tickets instead of actually waiting when the Chamber didn't need that type of momentum. You could have. It's the fucking Chamber. We don't need all those people for the Chamber. You should be using it as a stage to set the stage for WrestleMania. So you opted to do the 2 Chamber matches, which in itself sells the show. You had a major angle to open the women's show. Cena was in his final Chamber with CM Punk. That's all you needed to go off the air with. So they opted to do that moment at the Chamber, which still bothers me because we talked about this when we talked about it during Mania season. If they all did this at WrestleMania, they would have not only saved the fucking heel turn, at least for a little bit, but it also would have made WrestleMania not as fucking absolutely dog shit offensive as it was. They could have did the angle that they did to the Chamber at Mania, and they opted to do it there at the Chamber for a moment to sell tickets instead of doing it for a moment in what the company has riddled itself with for years to make a WrestleMania moment and then build upon that. And it would have made so much more sense going into the spring and summer months with Cena heel. That I don't understand. And that bothers me as a fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's all greed. It's all greed. I mean, again, they fancy themselves. They're a company that's all about stories and telling these great stories. But at the end of the day, what matters more than that is the almighty dollar. And so if they can get this big viral moment that's going to get people talking and is going to get people excited to buy tickets now to the next week of shows and to WrestleMania that year, that's it. So they're looking very narrowly in the short term. Unfortunately, what ended up happening as a result of this short-sightedness is that when we all look back on this John Cena retirement tour, for all the nice moments that there may be, this retirement tour in many ways is going to be defined by the way that they botched that WrestleMania main event and everything heading into that WrestleMania main event. Because people are going to look at that and go, man, this could have been this, and it ended up being that. And man, they dropped the ball. And man, you got a WrestleMania main event, and we hear Fiend, and we have Travis Scott coming down to the ring, and boy, that didn't lead anywhere. And unfortunately, it's tainted. It has tainted this retirement run that John Cena has been on. And even Logan Paul on his podcast today, he had a guest on the show, and I don't know how this came up. They were talking wrestling, and he mentioned that he was supposed to team up with Travis Scott. He said it was going to be him and Travis Scott and another person that he wouldn't name, and it didn't happen because the day of, I don't know what day this would have been, Travis Scott didn't show up. And I'm almost positive that what he's referring to is, remember, there was a rumor about there being a 6-man tag match at Money in the Bank. It was going to be John Cena, Travis Scott, and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Probably against
Cody and the Usos, yeah.
And the Usos. And I'm almost positive that's what he's talking about. That was planned. Travis Scott didn't show up. And Logan's theory about it is that he realized, and he doesn't know this, but his theory is that Travis just realized, man, this shit hurts and it's a big commitment and I got my music career and I can't commit to this. So it didn't work out. And then we ended up getting Cody and Jey Uso against John Cena and Logan Paul. So another match on this retirement tour that had to be tweaked and changed at the last minute because somebody pulled out and wasn't available. So all of these missteps resulted in a retirement tour that unfortunately was tainted when it didn't have to be that way.
Can you imagine me and Paul Levesque going to Travis Scott before you talk to John Cena about this fucking monumental heel turn, only for Travis Scott to then say, yeah, this pro wrestling thing is for me. I'm just going to abandon the biggest storyline that the fucking company's done in the last 20 years. Are you kidding me?
Look, somebody thought that it was a good idea to do the WrestleMania finish.
How are you the chief content officer and putting your faith in Travis Scott?
But this is what they do. I mean, they bring in these celebrities, and sometimes it's a hit, and sometimes it's a bust. Jelly Roll did very well for himself. I think, honestly, the kind of the benchmark, other than Logan Paul, who's done very well, would be Bad Bunny. And then for every Bad Bunny, there'll be a Travis Scott that comes along, and it doesn't work out. But they're not always involved in the top storyline on the show around the World Championship. That's the big difference here. This was the WrestleMania main event. And I will never, for the rest of my life, forget Fiend hitting. And in the middle of this main event, Travis Scott is taking his time, took 74 years for him to make his way down to the ring to lead to that dog shit finish that we got. And then, unfortunately, that was our WrestleMania main event. That was not only the WrestleMania main event, that was John Cena winning number 17.
Yeah.
So for all the years that all the fans probably in their mind imagine, what is this going to look like when that day finally comes? Because we all knew it was going to happen. When John Cena finally breaks the record, right? What is this moment going to look like? And that will be our memory of what that moment looks like.
But he's got no problem saying that, who cares? It doesn't matter what the original plan for The Rock and Travis Scott.
But what else can he say?
Could there have been a match with The Rock? Could there be anything, he says? That's the thing that sucks about what we could have been. Yeah, it's not what it is.
Yes, Cena is a media-trained robot, okay? In most of his interviews, You know, for all the times that you took Charlotte Flair to task for being the android,
Yeah.
okay, Cena's far worse. So John Cena will never say anything if he can avoid it to offend anybody or to, you know, cause any headaches for the company or anything like that. So I'm not totally shocked that he would dance around the question. I give Chris a lot of credit because he kept going at him. He was trying to get an answer out of him. And Cena just would not answer the fucking question. And I think he really just didn't want to throw The Rock under the bus. I think if he was telling the truth, he would have been like, yeah, I mean, if Rock was around, this could have really been something. But unfortunately, the people who needed to be here were not here all of a sudden when I thought they were going to be there. But he can't come out and say that. So I get it. He doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. Rock is still on the board of directors. He's still in a position of power there, and they're friends, and I get it. But that's the reality. He said a lot without saying anything. If you really kind of read between the lines of what he was saying, I think he did say a lot, but he was never going to come out and say it because that's just not who he is. So he's like, oh yeah, who cares? It's in the past. Nobody cares. Nobody's talking about this, right? Yeah, bullshit. Well, everyone is going to look back on this and go, what the fuck happened here?
Well, Chris did ask, was it talked about, a match with The Rock? I don't care. First of all, I'm always the last to know. It doesn't trickle down to me. If you watch it on Real, that process is genuine. I talked to The Rock, and then the last guy I got a call is John. I'm usually the last guy they call because I'm the easiest. Yeah, let's do it. No problem. I'm in. So I don't sweat the small stuff. So he goes on to say, a lot of that stuff's beyond control of even the people who own the sandbox. If I decide to walk, I have contractual obligations, but I'm not going to be there on the 13th. Like, if I decide, they'll figure it out. I saw Austin get fired. You know what I'm saying? I saw Brock leave. I saw, Dwayne take his break. I don't sweat any of those guys for what they did. Austin was worn out. Brock was probably going to assault someone in an airport. Dwayne had great opportunities. I don't fault people for being like, I can't do this right now. McAfee being burned out, being behind the booth. The guy has got so many opportunities, dude. You just got to focus on what you can do. I don't sweat them for that. So he goes on to say that he didn't choose a single opponent this year. The only thing that he wanted was Saturday night's main event, and he wanted it to be not a tribute show to him. He wanted it to be a chance for the NXT kids to be there. And I want to give major WWE superstars a chance to be on the card. It's a limited thing. It's not WrestleMania. It's only limited spots, but that's how I want to go out. So that's the only thing he said he asked for all year, and I genuinely believe him on that. So
I have no reason to doubt that. I mean, he's always been very, he's been very open to whatever the company wants him to do and very sort of laid back about it. Like, okay, I'll do what you want me to do to the best of my ability, and he won't push back. And if ever there was a time, I think, for him to be a little more like forceful about things, it would have been this retirement tour because it was all about him and how he wants to kind of just cement that legacy and cement that final year. I like the idea behind the show this Saturday. I think it's great. But we're going to look, not that we're going to, we're already looking back on this retirement tour. And it's frustrating. And I do think if everything had fallen into place perfectly, there was a story that you could have told had Rock been around. But this is the thing with The Rock. Like, The Rock is never going to be around enough to really make these stories work.
Well, he got nominated for a Golden Globe now for the Smashing Machine.
He did, yes.
Yeah. So if he wins that, it's over. We're never seeing him again.
Well, whether he wins it or not, I mean, I think this whole performance in the Smashing Machine maybe opened up new, avenues for him. But the fact is this: like, there are already people like talking about a Cody heel turn and how The Rock could be tied into it, and then you have Saudi Mania in 2 years, and they may want The Rock, and I'm sure they will. And you know what? Maybe they'll get him. But the thing is, what this company cannot do is wait around on the idea that, hey, Rock may be involved in this. Rock may be involved in that. Because look at what happened this year. Look at what almost happened last year. You can't keep going through this every year. You can't base everything you're doing around whether The Rock, the final boss, will be back and we'll get The Rock involved, because everything is just going to end up being all fucked up because of it. And it pisses me off that that's what happened with Cena this year. I don't think that this heel turn was really going to work regardless. I think doing a heel turn in his last year, when people wanted to pay money to come to the buildings to cheer for him one last time, I think it was ill-advised. I think that greed is, to me, the number one reason why it didn't work. Do T-shirts in every city that they had to sell. It was always about selling merch with him. How are you going to turn the guy heel when you're not really willing to commit fully to it and give us the heel John Cena that I think people really wanted to see? It was never going to work. Dude, it was 13 years too late. 13 years ago, 12 years ago, man, that would have been, if they let him go and do the heel turn the way he wanted to, that would have been something special. Like, that would have been a lot of fun. It was never going to work. So hindsight is what it is.
You had Vince McMahon, who cared about the things that he created, and now his son-in-law is running the company, and he's going for viral moments with no follow-up. Choose your poison.
There's pros and cons to both.
Yeah. Anyway, he went on to talk about his 17th. He said, "I want to choose my words wisely. I have been apprehensive for quite some time for that because I love Ric Flair." He basically went on to say, "I wanted to win 17, and it means so much to me so that I can shake the hand of the performer that wins number 18." The most suit and tie answer you could possibly give about winning 17 and breaking this fictional record by Ric Flair, which is not even the real record. What does it mean to you? I wanted to win it because I wanted to shake the hand of the guy who wins number 18. Bro, it was fucking awful. Like, I know we can't say that, but we can say it for him. It was fucking terrible, and it was one of the worst WrestleMania main events ever. And everybody in the company should be ashamed of what was produced there. And a lot of that has to do with Triple H and The Rock not being there and just things going completely backwards from the Elimination Chamber. So that was the most ridiculous answer he gave, one of them in the entire interview. He talked about winning
that and again, the idea that it takes 5 years to get a guy over. Yeah. Like when I heard that, I laughed and I said, "There's no way he can possibly believe this." Like, we're sitting here talking about The Rock, right? From the moment The Rock debuted at the end of 1996, dude, it didn't even take, his whole run didn't last 5 years. Okay, and look at the various like heel, babyface.
Yeah,
he was over within like 2 years. He was one of the biggest stars in the entire company, and that's just one example. Like, you can go on and on and on and find different examples. So that is, I mean, that is such a like WWE corporate think type of answer. It's almost sickening. But does he honestly believe it? I don't think he does. I mean, I can't get in his head. I can't say for sure, but like, I question if he honestly believes some of this stuff that was said in some of these interviews.
Bro, there's nothing in this life that he's going to do more than professional wrestling. So for 17 to not mean anything to him in the context of the way it would mean to us, I just find it to be fucking weird.
And he was a wrestling fan. He even talked like he grew up a wrestling fan. He's not one of these guys that fell into it. I didn't used to watch it. It didn't really mean anything to me. Like, he's a fan. He's a fan. He's dropping in at the Performance Center. He's dropping in. Bailey just had a session for women's wrestlers, and he popped in there, like, because he cares. He's a fan. So do you honestly believe this stuff just doesn't mean anything to him, or is he just trying to be diplomatic about things
that's
and
exactly
keep the peace?
Yeah. Chris asked him about winning the IC title. What does that mean to you? I swear to God, the way he answered the question, he was better off just saying, "I didn't give a shit." It's basically what he said so much, and that's all I got out of that. I don't give a shit. He says, "What is special about this is I was able to work with Dominic Mysterio 3 of my last 4 matches. And gosh, that was really special. And honestly, the most special thing about winning it is being able to lose it how I did. That was really cool. I got to experiment with the U.S. title and create an open challenge. And before that, I got to experiment with the U.S. title and turn it into a spinner belt. Turn it into a spinner belt twice. I was given what we in the company view as a secondary achievement and was relentless in making it a primary objective." Bro, all you needed to say was, "I didn't give a shit about winning the title. I did it for the fucking marks on social media." That was it.
Well, no, he did it because that's what they told him to do. He's like, "Okay, I guess we're winning the Intercontinental title today." Because honestly,
didn't give a single shit about winning the title.
No,
some fucking
of course
fat
not.
slob on Reddit was like, "You know what Cena needs this run? He needs the IC title to be the Grand Slam champion."
Yeah. So they gave the fans what they wanted, but like on that, I believe like he doesn't, like, it didn't matter to him. Like, he wasn't going to lose any sleep over not winning the fucking, Intercontinental title. I mean, give me a break. But it's like, yeah, I don't know, man.
And we'll end with this before we get to the Super Chats, because he did address Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. Chris asked him, "Why was the Brock Lesnar match so quick?" Well, I guess quick is perspective, because my frame didn't feel like it was, because he got suplexed, 9 or 10 times in that match?
I think 8 times.
Quick relative to the other matches you've worked this year. So he compared it to the Sami Zayn match and the Logan Paul and the AJ Styles and Cody matches that we've raved about. Again, I love the public's ability to weigh in. You have this guy who's returning, who absolutely looks like he hasn't aged a day, and he hasn't. Moves like it. He can split his pants and still move like a ballerina, slip on his pyro and do a ninja roll and be okay. He's a beast. It's his first time back. I've been in this seat before. It's like I'm always in the seat when Brock comes back. Rock after Miami. Who's the next guy? SummerSlam with Roman. Here he comes again. After he beats Taker for the Shriek. I've sat in this seat before. You have to figure out who gets the shine that night and if. In his return again, only my perspective. This attraction where we were going to build until he goes into the sunset, which I think in Minnesota, which he basically gave away potentially Lesnar retiring at SummerSlam next year. Creatively, it's very soon to create a mountain to climb for someone. You have to build the mountain. I'm on my way out. It's not like it's going to hurt me, but I'm a viable commodity, but it's a great main event. You see these two Titans for the last time, and it's okay. Sometimes your team gets blown out. We were the first on the program, and I did the best I could. We all did the best we could to make it a competitive fight into the middle. People forget I was in the arena when Brock fell down for the first time on the shoulder tackle, and when I was there, I was able to give him all that stuff. They were into it, and there's a bunch of gratuitous F5s. That's how you build Brock. So basically, Jason, he said that he needed to lay down for Brock because he was in that position and Brock was coming back, so he needed the rub. Imagine thinking you're John Cena and you need to give Brock Lesnar a fucking rub because he was out for 2 years. I don't understand that mentality.
I love the idea that we have to build Brock.
To do what? Cena wasn't even in the chamber.
This guy, he has to be built though, JD. You have to build Brock.
They never even mentioned it again.
No. It's like it didn't even happen.
Oh my God.
Well, look, that match, it never should have happened. It was one of those matches on this retirement tour that you could have replaced that match with a different opponent for Cena and made it a little more competitive. It's not something that people wanted to see. But this is what they felt they had to do to get a big pop for that first ESPN show. What's the biggest possible match we could do right now? Right? We're not at the end yet, but like, what's the biggest match we could do with Cena? We'll bring back Brock. And that'll get a lot of eyeballs on ESPN and the ESPN app. That was why they did it. And then they got rid of it as quickly as possible in the first like 10 minutes of the show. And they moved on to, whatever else came after that. But, there's a lot of things we could point to on this tour that I wish were different. One thing that made me laugh, you listen to Cena in the Tom Rinaldi interview or with Chris, like you mentioned before, he's like, oh gosh, like gee golly. But like you watch the Joe Rogan interview, dude's dropping F-bombs every like 7 seconds, like in the interview. Like it's like he knows based on the environment he's in, like, okay, I'm on this guy's show. All right, I'm just gonna cuss.
Yeah, I don't have to talk pro wrestling in front of Rogan. We're just gonna go fucking F-bombs galore.
We'll just be like, what the fuck, bro? What's going on? And then, with Chris, it's like a switch gets flipped, and like, we got to go into corporate Cena mode here. And it's like, okay.
Now we'll end with this here. Lesnar, if Lesnar is indeed riding off into the sunset next year in Minnesota at SummerSlam, who do you think his final opponent will be? And who do you think it should be?
I think it'll be Gunther. I think there's a chance they don't do it at WrestleMania. If the plan is for him to have a final match, I could see them maybe wanting to hold off on it for the summer. But who I think it should be? I think it should be Obafemi.
That's what I was going with. I think they do Gunther Lesnar at WrestleMania, and I think they save Obafemi for SummerSlam.
I think that that would be probably what I would do too, because I think Obafemi, you want to really, we talk about passing the torch.
Yeah.
I kind of laughed before when you mentioned that, because really when you think about it, in terms of like some of the big names, how many of them have truly in their final match, like passed the torch to like either the new guy or the younger guy? Like even Shawn Michaels, when he had his retirement match, right? He lost to The Undertaker. And a lot of guys don't even necessarily get a final match.
Well, I think that's ego. I don't think Shawn Michaels wanted to pass it to anybody but someone who has equal playing field to him.
Well, and how much of it was also Vince and the company? Because Shawn may have been like, look, this is when I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done at this Mania. And then they came up. It's like Vince, right? Kurt wanted to wrestle Cena, and he was like, no, you're going to wrestle Baron Corbin. Now, if you give me another year, you can get Cena next year. And Kurt's like, I can't go another year. He goes, well, you're getting Baron Corbin. So sometimes it's also Vince and the company who sort of have their own idea of what they want to do. I love Oba because certainly by the summer, Oba should absolutely already be on the main roster and somewhat established at that point, and just physically. I mean, the guy's a beast.
Yeah.
So you put beast against beast, and just he is a believable monster that Brock rarely is up against in the ring. Usually he's the monster. And Oba can just stand right there, and it's like this battle between these two titans, and truly would be putting over a newer, younger star. I think that would be the best use of a Brock Lesnar retirement match.
The Ruler versus the Beast at SummerSlam.
The Ruler.
The Ruler.
Right. The Ruler. Yes.
I'm here for it. Braun Breaker would be a good choice too, but we don't know where Breaker's going to be, champion or not, so we don't know.
Yeah, Breaker would be good too, but I like the idea of it being Oba.
Yeah, spread the wealth for sure. Breaker's already going to be over by that point. Oba will be established by that point if he's on the main roster come January. I think that works.
Now maybe Triple H will give us Roman Reigns instead.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Do not throw that out there, please.
Yes, I can. I can imagine. And we'll get all these video packages about what a classic rivalry it's been, and now they're going to pay it off.
Part
One
13,
final.
pal.
Oh, boy.
We don't need it. But we need you guys, man. Thank you very much for a great 124. We're going to get into your super chats here in just a second. Please follow us on social media. You guys know where to find us. Everything is linked down below in the description. Go check us out on YouTube. We will be live for tomorrow's Dynamite. Sorry there was no Dynamite discussion for the comments that I'm sure I'll see in the chat later. No, all the 3 hours of no AEW Dynamite talk. Well, I'm sorry, man. What's going on over there that you would like us to talk about? You know, we can talk about that tomorrow on our individual post shows. We got Dynamite Collision. No. Continental Classic.
Well, that's next week. We have a 3-hour combined show next week.
Don't remind me. Oh, God. So, yeah, that's coming. And then Saturday, we'll both be live for John Cena's final match and more discussion to be had there on what should be a great show Saturday night. Hit that thumbs up and please continue to support via the super chats. We're going to get through these here. Michael Krause with a 2. JD Jason, best of the best. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, brother.
Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. So I decided to binge watch Evolve. Kendall Gray and Shawn Legacy stood out to me. Gray is my new number 1. She will be a big deal on NXT. I love everything about her. I think she's great. Shawn Legacy is actually very good too. A little vanilla as far as like the whole character and the gimmick, but he's very smooth in the ring.
What about Jack Cartwheel?
I don't mind Jack Cartwheel. I think I don't know what his ceiling would be on an NXT or a main roster, but he's very talented. I like Cappuccino Jones. He's still my guy. I don't know who else came off that show. I don't know. They got Nikita Lyons working that show. I mean, they got Tyra May Steele on that show. She's good too.
Not Shiloh Hill. The other guy. Oh man, the guy that he's been in NXT, I think. But I'm pretty sure he came out of Evolve. They started pushing him.
What the fuck is that? Did he come from LFG? No,
I don't think so.
I'm not familiar with most of the roster, honestly.
I can't remember his name. He's like who's you remind me of?
LeFleur. Who the hell is that?
Are you asking me?
the chat. French guy in a mask.
LeFleur? What's that? Who's that?
I don't know. Who is that? Is that like the model Rick Martel fucking 2025 version? Who is that? Jackson Drake. Chat says.
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. He reminds me of the guy that got fired, actually. Who they put with New Day?
Oh, Odyssey Jones?
Yeah, but it wasn't Odyssey Jones.
Chat, we need help with this. Who's Jason talking about?
Yeah. Help me out.
We don't know. Callie Armstrong, yeah, she was the Evolve champion before Kendall Gray won it, yeah. A lot of decent talent down there. A lot of that talent's going to end up moving to NXT, which makes some main roster call-ups inevitable, hopefully, within the next couple of weeks.
Jasper Troy.
Yes, he was on LFG. He won LFG season 1, yeah.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah. Michelle with a 2. Any chance both world titles change hands on January 5th? Well, we discussed that earlier. That came in at 8:24. We don't think so, Michelle. One or the other. Jason Barker, 40 months. Thank you, brother. 40 months. What do you call a couch that's afraid of commitment? A pull-out couch. Keep the jokes to Sidro, bro. Boss Mo Jackson with the 199. Greatest tag team of the modern era. Who do you got? Lucha Brothers.
Ooh, of the modern era. Lucha Bros would be pretty high up there. You got to have the Young Bucks up there. I know they're very polarizing, but more often than not, I mean, they usually have some pretty fucking great matches.
You're not gonna sit well with some people after the show. After that,
yeah, I know. I'm on their shit list now. I mean, honestly, I'm probably between those two.
The guy's there. Apparently, Ilio LaFleur is his name. I gotta look this guy up now. Who is this? Ilio's Pizza. Ilio LaFleur. Evolve. I don't know if I. No, this you guys got to be trolling me. There's no guy named Ilio LaFleur. Come on.
I've never heard of this.
Oh
person
yes. He's. We called a match of his in House of Glory. Igel Blanc. Do you remember him? Wasn't he in House of Glory?
we called a match of his?
I think so. Yes.
What's his name?
Igel Blanc. Igel Blanc. Aigle.
Yeah.
His name is Ilio LaFleur.
Okay, hold on a second. Did we really have him? I don't recall.
Maybe we did. I swear to God, the name sounds familiar.
I don't think we did. I'm going to go to Cage Match right now and find out.
All right, we're gonna find out, chat. We're gonna find out.
I would have put notes together and everything. And, oh my God, he wrestled in House of Glory.
See? Why do I know this?
Okay, well, in our defense, though, it was the show in Philadelphia, the Revolver Hog show.
Yes.
It was so it was the Pro Wrestling Revolver Remix Title 7-way match.
Yes, there's a lot of guys.
He was one of the people in the 7-way. So, okay, yeah, it wasn't exactly top of mind.
I knew the name sounded familiar. Igel Blanc. Yes, he's French. No shit. Yes, we know. LaFleur. Boss Mo Jackson, thank you, brother. What? Nathan Cox with the 199. All Raw shows on YouTube or exclusive to Netflix? We don't know yet. WWE's going to do what they want with their vault. We have no idea. Captain Solo with $2 Super Chat. No devil's kiss from Nia. I don't want to vomit. No, I would like to see less of the move, period. Also with a 5, Jordan Grace and LA Knight are the new Job Squad. Whose Apple Jacks did they pee in? I don't know. Is Jordan Grace the LA Knight of the women's division down there? What do you mean by that?
Well, hopefully that just means that, they're finishing her up. She'll be on her way up maybe by Rumble time.
Hopefully. Jeffrey Mania, 24 with a new membership. Thank you, Jeffrey. Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. I watched Deadline. It was one of the best shows I watched in months. Not saying NXT is better than the main roster, but this pay-per-view hit the spot. JD on commentary is saying LaFleur.
The Hog Commission didn't remember him. He didn't work for Hog, in my defense.
No, he didn't work. No, LaFleur didn't work for House of Glory. He was Igel Blanc then.
He was signed by somebody else.
Bad Trips with a $5 Super Chat. Sadly, I am not excited for the Royal Rumble since it's in Saudi and all the women will be wearing bodysuits. Bro, listen. It's the Rumble. I can't not be excited about the Rumble. It's my favorite show of the year, no matter where it's taking place. But the tickets went on sale. Triple H did say the tickets go on sale today, so I don't know how many of you are venturing out that way, but you can buy your tickets now. Sidro with a 5. Neighbor's wife attacked her husband with his guitar collection. At arraignment, judge asked, first offender. She said, no, first a Gibson, then offender. Oh. You know my favorite guitar, Sidro, was a Gibson? Gibson Voodoo. And then the neck of the guitar broke and it was never the same. I had to sell it. Boss Mo Jax with the 199. Landscape of streaming apps changed. I don't know what to think. Stay with what you want. Minimize what you got. I've heard a lot of I think Chris was even pushing it as a sponsor for his ad. Rocket Mortgage. They consolidate all your apps and tell you what you need and what you don't need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, there's so many of them, and even the individual promotions. You know, you got TNA Plus. Although I don't know how that's going to change now that they're going to be on AMC Plus. Tony Khan has his Honor Club with Ring of Honor, which he just talked about and said he makes good money through the paywall for Ring of Honor. So he's got that going. Everyone's got their little piece of the pie.
Caden with a $1.99, no message. Thank you, Caden. Baby Shaq with a $4.99, no message. Thank you, Baby Shaq. Sidro with a $5. Breaking news: Count Chocula, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and the Teddy Grahams Bear have all perished in a fire. S'more at 11. Bro, Count Chocolate used to be one of my favorite cereals growing up. And Teddy Grahams I used to have as a snack at school all the time. The chocolate ones especially. Them and the cinnamon ones were my favorite. But yeah, I can't eat none of that shit anymore, bro. You read the back of these boxes, man, bio-engineered ingredients included. I can't anymore.
Yeah, the cinnamon ones were that was my thing. Although, what was it? Cookie Crisp.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, Cookie Crisp is really good.
Yeah. Michelle with a 2. Better character wrestler, Ambrose or Moxley?
Better character wrestler? What does that even mean?
Better character / wrestler, Ambrose or John? Who do you prefer, John Moxley or Dean Ambrose? Who do you think is better?
Moxley.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Sidro with a 5. What do you call a cappuccino made with alpaca milk? Al Pacino. Alpaca milk? What the fuck does it even taste like? Alpaca milk? Have you ever drinking milk from an alpaca? Or a sheep? You ever have goat's milk?
You're asking me of all people. I'm not drinking any milk.
I know, that's why I'm asking you.
It's going to be a bad night for me if I do.
Al Pacino. And I got injured at a Chinese restaurant. They told me to just walk it off. Thank you, Sidro. William Lopez, 999 with a $9.99 super chat. According to Cena, Brock destroyed him to potentially set up another guy that will be Lesnar in the future. They did it to set up Roman beating him. Unless they're setting up Braun, I don't see the point. Well, Jason just put it out there in the universe that it may be Roman and Brock. God forbid. Oba's the answer. Sidro with a 2. Hear about a guy who's afraid of hurdles. He got over it. Thank you, Sidro. Sidro with a 5. Which country's capital has fastest growing population? Ireland. Every day it's Dublin.
God.
See, I like that one. What do you call a warrior with pubes in his teeth? Glad he ate her. Can we get the toilet? Can we get the toilet sound on that one, please? That one was awful. Come on, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, Sidro, what are you doing, bro? Come on. Boss Mo Jackson with a $4.99. Nikki Bella being called a legend is cliche because there's nothing legend about her. She was a big fish in a small pond, but Bourne is Orton 2.0. I'm a Bourne fan. Yeah, I'm not there yet. Not there yet. Adrian with a $4.99. Kurt Angle walked so Chad Gable could run. Kurt Angle walked so Chad Gable could run so Kendall Gray could fly. There you go. Let's stop making comparisons. The last time we heard that was like Roxanne Perez is the next Mercedes Moné. Like, okay, or Sasha Banks. Like, okay. Can we get or who was it? Cora Jade. Can we let them just be them and then not compare to others whose boots are just not going to be filled? Like, there's only one of those. There's only one Bailey. There's only one Mercedes. There's never going to be another one. Captain Solo with a 2. Patience. LA Knight will be WWE champion at the age of 50. I don't think he'll be in the WWE by the age of 50.
Yeah, you might want to temper those expectations.
Ross with a $4.99. Great show. Thank you, Cena. What's your favorite John Cena match? I go to around 20 movies a year. Really? 20 movies a year? That's a lot of fucking money, bro. Maybe one. Favorite Cena match? I don't know. There's so many.
Is he talking all time?
Yeah, all time, yeah. I'll probably go the Shawn Michaels match on SmackDown, that Iron Man match.
That was on Raw.
Oh, Raw,
and,
yeah.
That was not an Iron Man match, but
didn't they have an Iron Man match?
No.
No?
No, they had a 55-minute match. That's probably what you're thinking of.
It's just about it's just about an Iron Man match. You know what I meant.
Well,
yes.
So that was on Raw. That was in the UK, actually.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Mine, I got to go probably Cena Punk Money in the Bank 2011.
Can't go wrong with that one.
Nope.
Bad Trips with a $5 super chat. JD, I'm still laughing at the guy in your chat yesterday that said LA Knight was the mystery man when the mystery man attacked him. Yeah, I mean, some people were legitimately drinking, man, last night, for sure. I don't know what they were drinking, but it's pretty weird.
Good stuff.
Sidro with a 5. Not sure what the best thing about Switzerland is, but their flag is a big plus. I used to pray before my trigonometry test, hoping for a sign from above. Osmo Jackson with the $4.99. LA Knight is likable. He's one of those guys that remind us all what we loved about The Rock and Austin. He keeps us glued to the TV. He's my number one guy. Well, he's not my number one guy. I don't think he's Jason's number one guy. But he's a solid act. Lorgasmic comes in with a $100 super chat.
Wow.
Lorgasmic, thank you, brother. I want to like the ending. It was different and showed a side of Knight fighting back desperately, which was needed after tapping out. Reminds me of Rock beating on Cody backstage, which built up to WrestleMania. Problem is, knowing Triple H in 25, it leads to nothing, and we can F off. Basically, that's what he's thinking. Us fans can fuck off, yeah. I listen, man, I hope you're right. I think LA Knight deserves at least a token title run, month, 2 months tops. It doesn't got to be anything too crazy. Just to say, hey, man, we appreciate you, we see you, thank you, type of deal. And that's why they have Hollywood writers, man. They can't write LA Knight to win the title for 2 months and make a story out of it. I don't know. We'll see what happens going into Mania. I still stick with him and Jericho at WrestleMania. Thank you, brother. That's a lot of money. Appreciate you being here. Bossmo Jackson with the $1.99. LA Knight is the real MVP of WWE. Facts, not fiction. This year? No. No, I don't think he's the MVP this year. I think before he got injured, Rollins was the MVP. Hannah with a $4.99. JD, I swear you laugh exactly like Brad Dourif, voice of Chucky. Sometimes it's quite impressive. Happy holidays to you both. Bring on 26. Well, Hannah, thank you. I don't know if that's a compliment or a negative, but appreciate you being here. So what you're telling me is I could voice a evil doll and make it work.
An evil killer doll, yes.
Yes. Ash with a $5 super chat.
Before you do that, I need you to. So here's what I need you to do.
Oh no!
I need you to go. Dewey Dembella, give me the power, I beg of you.
No.
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 Okay.
No.
People who saw the movie, they'll know what that is.
$5 super chat. This was the number one show on YouTube. End of the year list. This is the least I can do. Best two-man wrestling show at the moment. I used to love the Don Tony and Kevin Castle show. R.I.P. Kevin Castle. Yes. It's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about Kevin the other day and wondering how Draper and family were doing going into the holidays. So I wish them nothing but the best. I'm not the biggest Christmas guy, but I do wish everybody the happiest of holidays, and I do wonder how they're doing over there. But to Ash, thank you, brother. That means a lot to me and Jason, and I truly believe, outside of the cornets and lasts, that we're in the discussion for sure. This is a big deal on Tuesday nights. You guys show up every single Tuesday, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a good conversation with Cross actually I brought Kev up.
Oh, nice.
When I saw him at the big event show.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Kev for a little bit.
Nice. Sidro with a 2. If Jericho joined the MFTs, call it my learning tree. No. We don't need any more trees. The WWE has their tree, and it's not as bad as the Jericho's tree, but it's just as bad. Bad Trips with a 5. LA Knight was using holograms and green screens to make it look like he attacked himself. Yeah. Sure. Whatever you guys want to believe. Sailor Siren with 36 months. I don't hate Gunther facing Cena in his last match at all, but I do wish they would have booked Friday to have Knight pass out to keep him looking strong.
Well, the thing is, though, it goes against the story that they wanted to tell for the Cena match.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason they had Knight tap out, was to set up the possibility that Cena might do the same thing.
Ty Beasy with a $10 super chat. Been watching y'all for 10 years. Appreciate y'all responding to me, JD, YouTube, Solo, Twitter. Y'all were my number 1 and number 2 on my recap. JD, I watched 398 of your vids in 25. Solo, I think I watched 175 to 225 of yours in 25.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love hearing that.
Yeah, we didn't touch upon that. I want to thank you guys, and I'm sure Jason does as well. I got so many messages about how we were at the top of many of your lists for like YouTube channels and like Spotify. Jason's got a bigger Spotify presence than I do, but you know, no matter where we fell, man, to see us number 1 and 2 or in people's top 5s with some really fucking great creators, man, that means more to me than anything. So I just want to say thank you guys. It's been a great week to see everybody's YouTube wrapped. So it's very humbling to see. So thank you. Lauren with a 2. John Cena has signed a 5-year ambassador deal. Not surprising at all. He's not going nowhere. He's going to make his money in Hollywood and make his money still in life after of WWE. So, Ash with a 5. I feel like LA Knight would have had a better title run than Gunther, Jay, and Priest. Did getting fired 13 years ago hurt him? Second ever super chat, by the way. Well, thank you, Ash.
I disagree that it would have necessarily, have gone better just looking at the U.S. title run that he had.
Yeah.
Remember when he won the U.S. title from Logan Paul? Great moment. What do you remember about that run that he had as champion before he lost it to, he lost it to Nakamura, didn't he?
He lost it to Nakamura and then only to lose it to Fatu at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And now he's like the white Nakamura in WWE.
Yeah. I still believe, me and Jason talked about it then during the November Saturday Night's main event, that LA Knight should have beaten Punk for the World Championship there. Vacant. Honestly. That would have not hurt them at all. And nothing really would have changed from what we see now. WWE doesn't need Cody Roman 3. Give it to Randy, says Lauren with the $2 super chat. Yeah, I would much rather see Cody and Randy based off their story and the history that they have together with both of their families than Cody Roman 3. And we talked about it last week with The Rock maybe getting involved, but I mean, that's a big if. And second, who wants to see Rock after what he did this year? It's going to be quite the gamble. W Rap with a 199. Randy RKO's Cody and Oba wins, but Triple H lost his balls. You think we see Randy on Saturday? Is that a possibility?
I think we should see him there just to be part of the show because Cena's there.
Yeah.
Not that he's going to necessarily get involved in any of the matches, but again, like a Kurt Angle or a Batista, someone like that who has obviously had a lot of matches with Cena over the course of his career. I don't know why Orton wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I don't know where Orton is.
Unless they're just holding him out as a surprise for some creative reasons. There's no reason for him not to be there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think him being out, he'll probably stay out past the holidays, show up, turn of the new year, get ready for the Rumble.
So you don't think he'll even be in the building that night?
No.
Even off camera?
He'll be in the building. I don't think he'll be on camera for WWE until like January. Yeah.
Because even Seth has said that he's planning on being in DC for that show.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be there for sure.
Yeah.
Bossmo Jackson with a 199. Thoughts on Ricky turning and Oba defending? Yeah, that was what happened tonight. Apparently, Ricky helped Oba retain the title, and I guess he betrayed Javon Evans. So Ricky Saints is a heel.
People in the chat were saying, yeah, heel Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky was a better heel anyway, in my opinion. Yurka with a 10. No message. Thank you, Yurka. Arabian Night with a 699. Trick is nowhere to be seen. They're going to keep changing masked men's body to throw us off. What if it's not Theory or Saints and it's Trick in the vision? Never really thought of it, honestly. What do you think, Jason? Trick in the vision?
No.
Okay.
No,
I think Trick goes to SmackDown and feuds over the United States Championship with Carmelo Hayes. I think that's the play. Toya with a 5. I'm looking forward to Cena's last match. I'm also sad it's Cena's last match. Also, Oba versus Cody is going to cook. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty emotional on Saturday. Especially seeing if he gets the microphone to say goodbye to everybody.
And then they cut him off like Goldberg?
Never. Okay. Never. Hollywood guy with a $10 super chat. I don't trust Triple H with pushing people. He promised a Nakamura, Balor, Styles push. I'm still waiting for Balor's push. If you're not the bloodline, you don't get one.
Yeah, I joked last night. I said, maybe the best thing for him to do, maybe he's going to go away and he'll come back with all these like tribal tattoos all over his body. And then Triple H will think he's part of the whole family and he'll actually get a push, like a successful push.
Come back
maybe
as
that's all he's missing.
Come back as a Fatu?
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to change his name, but like if he comes back, he's just got, all the tats and everything, puts his finger in the air. He might do okay for himself.
Maybe.
He might be protected.
Captain Solo with a 5. What would you have thought of a healthy Seth Rollins facing John Cena in his final match? I think that match would have been a banger. It certainly could have been on a list, but me personally, I don't think I would have cared
for that. As a final match? No. Yeah, I feel the same way about Kevin Owens. It would have been a hell of a match, and I think it should have happened on the retirement tour if it was possible, but just not the last match.
Yeah. Alex with the $10 super chat. Brother JD and Solo with Andre and now Hogan, sadly not with us anymore. Do you guys think their Mania 3 match will be inducted into the Hall of Fame? If so, who would accept it on their behalf?
Oh, it'll go in. If they continue this trend that they started this year of inducting matches, I thought it should have gone in number 1.
Yeah.
And I love that Bret Austin match, but I mean, Hogan-Andre is the iconic match of all time in this company. So, yeah, it'll go into the Hall of Fame. And I mean, as far as who accepts it, I mean, it could be Hogan's son.
Could be Hogan's
it could
son,
be a member of his, it could be a member of his family.
Yeah. Jimmy Hart?
Accepting it, I mean, he would be there probably, but I could see them inviting Nick Hogan and him and accepting.
Ray Reezy with a $4.99 question for both of you. What are your favorite John Cena attires? Mine is his 2007 attire where he wrestled in the green cargo shorts. Ray, thank you for the question. I'm going to answer this before Jason goes. I didn't really pay that close of attention to his attires, and I didn't really care for any of them, honestly. That's my answer.
I'll go the Doctor of Thugonomics. When he was coming out with like the throwback jerseys and stuff.
That's a good answer. Jason's favorite, Demeter Bullion Doggy with a $7.99. Hello, JD from NY206 and Solomonster. My question for you gentlemen today. JD, what is your top 3 ladder matches? What is your top 100 cage matches? well, we won't be answering that tonight. My top 3 ladder matches?
Well, I already know what JD's top cage match is. I mean, that's easy enough.
Bret Hart versus Owen Hart.
No, Seth Rollins and The Fiend in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, no, thank you.
2019.
My top ladder match of all time. I don't know. There's, HBK and Razor WrestleMania 10. That's my favorite one. The first one.
I'm gonna go Shawn and Razor SummerSlam '95.
There you go. I gotta go back and rewatch that to see why everybody says that one's better than the first. If I can find it.
First one is a great match and it's more memorable, but I just felt like the second match, even though the finish was kind of a little botched, because Shawn kind of tried to pull the belt down and it wouldn't go, and he got all pissed off.
And honorable mention, I think it was at an All Out. I don't remember what year, but Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks inside that steel cage for the tag team titles. I was in the building for that. Yeah, that's a great fucking match. Mm-hmm. Alex with the $10 super chat. Buy, sell, rent on Best Cena SummerSlam match. SummerSlam 2005 versus Jericho. SummerSlam 2013 versus Danielson. And SummerSlam 16 versus AJ Styles. Also, was the SummerSlam match against Jericho when the crowd started to turn against Cena? I guess we'll answer that question first. Was that the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was right around. I can't pinpoint that night or TV the week before, but it was right around that period. Because when he got drafted to Raw, he actually came out during Jericho's talk show segment. That was in June of 2005. Man, the reaction he got was just like off the charts. So it was sometime around SummerSlam. That's where I remember the chants starting. And then of the 3 matches that you listed from SummerSlam, and I was in the building for this one, Cena Styles 2016. That was at the Barclays Center.
You're buying on that one.
Tremendous match.
So you're buying on that one.
I'm buying on that one.
I thought that Rumble match was better. No?
Yeah, but he's asking about SummerSlam matches, no?
Yeah, he is. I'll probably buy on the Danielson match because I love the ending. I'm going to sell on the Jericho match and rent on the Styles match.
Yeah, I'm going to rent on the Danielson match and then sell on the Jericho match.
There you go. Base Beers with the 2. Can't wait for the Unreal documentary of Katie Vick. I'm surprised that we still hear that name today. I really am.
It sticks with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Triple H fucking a corpse
Yeah.
in a funeral home. I mean, those things, you don't forget those things very easily. Why do you think people still bring up Michael Cole and Heidenreich?
Yeah.
In that whole segment.
Or what's his name? Kicking the baby. Fucking Snitsky, yeah.
Wasn't his fault.
No. Emoji Matt with a 2 and a 2. Did you see my $50 message? And then he says, just kidding. He also comes in with a 5. Jason, I challenge you to a duel. At First Dawn, slappers only. Bring your Rumble pack. And JDNY, do you want to go grab a beer, man? Me and you and Sidro can sit there and tell jokes. Man, I'm slightly concerned, man. I don't know how you have. It seems like you're having a good time over there, man. What are you drinking? Thank you, brother. Base Beers with the 2. Natalia should have as many titles as Charlotte. I guess that's the way to look at it. I don't know how many people feel that way, but sure.
I mean, it's more impressive to me if you have one really long championship reign instead of having like 10 short ones. That's just me.
Emoji Matt with the 2. My cat's breath smells like cat food. Okay.
That's the message.
That's the message.
Well, then that's good. That's a good thing.
Tribal Chief. $5 Super Jack. Can't wait for the Unreal show revealing how they pulled off the masked man to be LA Knight stomping LA Knight on the announce table on Raw. Emoji Matt with a 5. Jason, I want to thank you for doing all that you do every week. You are a big contributor to the community. Thank you. JD from New York, same goes for you. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, and that means a lot.
Base Bears with a 2. David Otunga is a jabroni. Is he? Why is there David Otunga slander now? What happened with David Otunga?
Well, he's been very visible lately. He's been putting out a bunch of videos. I think he's trying to become the new Maven.
Yes.
On YouTube. And he came out with a video talking about a bad experience he had with John Cena many years, like 15 years ago, where Cena kind of bullied him.
Is that where he said he could drop Cena at the drop of a dime?
Yes. He said he couldn't put his hands on him because Cena didn't physically like accost him. He just sort of verbally did. So he was a nobody, so he had to just take it. But he said had Cena put his hands on him, he would have dropped him where he stood.
Sidro with a 5. I get it now. The reason wrestlers were walking on eggshells when Vince was around because of the golden egg, pal. It may be. We don't know.
Now we know. Either that or the giant one that hatched at Survivor Series.
Base Beers to the 2. 2025 was doomed from the start. Jay won the Rumble. I guess listen, you could go back to that and kind of see the decline in the years creative, for sure. You know, Jason did say at the beginning of the year when we did our Rumble predictions, don't sleep on Jey Uso, maybe winning the Rumble, and he called it.
There you go.
Demeter Bullion with a $7.99. Shimpy, skanky, tappy on my nappy. Yeah, no? Okay. I'm going to get real mad. Please watch Jack and the Beanstalk with Bud Abbott. Mucky Ducky, I want to go. Yep. I don't know what else to add there. Thank you, Demeter.
I mean, I like the Bud Abbott reference. I'm a big Abbott and Costello fan, but I have no idea what he was actually talking about.
Ace Bears with a 2 and a 2. Streak ending. I've seen his heel turn done last minute. BS or buy sell. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest or Kurt Angle versus Shane Street fight. Ooh. That's actually a good
I
one.
mean, I got to go Kurt Angle and Shane. But Bad Bunny and Damian Priest was a lot more entertaining than I thought it would be.
Yeah. And the entrance, my God. I still kind of randomly go back, and every time I see it on social media, just
I got
watch
the
it.
drone.
Yeah.
When he first walks out. Yeah.
Crazy. Baltimore Jackson with the 199. Cena is leader of the Probots and the Decepticons.
Wasn't he Bumblebee?
Was he? I think so.
Yeah, I think he was Bumblebee in one of the movies.
Base Beers with the 2. The Rock can be Cruiserweight champion now. Yeah, he's getting ready for that movie. He'll bulk up. He knows what he's doing. He's looking for an Academy Award, too, on top of his Golden Globe. Who do we got here? We got Omar with a 499. Why are priests terrible at racing? Because they always come in a little behind. Who cooks in a lesbian relationship? Neither one. They both eat out. All right, Omar, listen. Just let us know when you're going there with the jokes, okay? Jericho, $5 super chat. Vince ruined Kurt Angle's retirement run, and Triple H ruined Cena's retirement run. He really is just his father-in-law. I guess. He didn't have a good year. Let's chalk it up to that. Hopefully next year's better. Brentamania with a 2. Random question, but where the heck is Omos? It's a good question. Triple A.
Yeah, last time I saw him, he was beating up Micro Man.
Maybe the new tag team of the future right there.
It could be.
Tony Brown with a 499. Roxanne is a sexy-ass dessert, and so is Liv and Stephanie. I agree, Tony Brown. I agree. Brentamania with a 2. LA Knight should be John Cena's last appointment. Yeah. Never going to happen, bro. Never going to happen. You LA Knight fans, man, you're a funny group of guys. Bradley Xavier with a 5. Cena really said he intentionally made the Mania match suck to fit the narrative of ruining wrestling. Yeah. He forgets fans paid real money to see these events.
Yeah, I love that narrative. Like, oh, he's these matches, these finishes are great because he's a heel. So kicking people in the dick and hitting them with the belt shot is genius.
More 7205 with a $2 super chat. What happened?
I was gonna say it's cinema, JD. It's cinema.
Not cinema I ever want to watch again for sure. More $2 super chat. I appreciate the unbiased commentary. As always, Solo.
Thank you, More.
Emoji Matt with a 2. Buy or sell. Chad, I don't know how to pronounce this. Collier or Scoot Andrews?
Oh, I think Chad Collier.
Collier. And Scoot Andrews? Who's Scoot Andrews?
I don't know.
I don't even know who these guys are, Emoji Man. How am I supposed to buy and sell? I'm going to sell on both because I don't know who they are. Soma with a 2. Cena's final match against the Great Khali. Just kidding. Can you imagine? If Vince was in charge, it might be a possibility. Furious Nation with a 50 months. Thank you, brother. What's up, JD and Solo? 50 months as a member and counting. Here's to another 50. Beer emoji. Thank you, brother.
Cheers, brother.
Robbie, 618 with a 199. Devil's Kiss from Goldberg or Brock Lesnar? First of all, I don't think Goldberg is even capable of doing a Devil's Kiss. We may only have Lesnar to choose from there, to be quite honest.
Are we gonna end up seeing videos online of people like in Create a Wrestler mode in like 2K26 making Brock Lesnar do the Devil's Kiss?
Yes. Yes,
there have been videos in the past of like him doing other people's entrances.
Oh, you mean Nikki Bella?
Yeah, Nikki Bella comes out twirling like this. So now we're going to get all these fucking Brock Lesnar Devil's Kiss videos. That's my fear.
Smooth J with a 499. What if The Rock comes out after Cena's last match and says, "Your soul belongs to me"?
I think that would be pretty awful.
No.
That's what I think.
Sidro, $2 super chat. Devil's Kiss from Naya? Question mark. No, that's a devil's curse. Man, what's with the Naya slander, huh? Come on, guys. Base Beers with the 2. Devil's Kiss, face up. And then he leaves a kiss emoji and a devil emoji.
I think these people really need to get out a little bit. We may have to have like a some sort of intervention here.
You guys are crazy, man. Bad Trips with the 2. Brock Lesnar's final opponent should be Kyrie Sane.
Yeah. You ever see that Photoshop?
No.
So you have no idea what that's even referring to.
I don't know.
Years
what that
ago,
means.
if you do a search, it should come right up. There was a Photoshop that somebody posted. It was like from a cage match. It was so seamless too. It was like a cage match of like Kyrie spearing Lesnar, and it looked. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah.
I just see it. I
You
see
see
it.
it?
Yeah.
It's just like so perfect.
Hey, listen. Pirate Princess versus the Beast Incarnate. Let's book it.
She's gonna get him.
Gab Bulldog with a 199. How do you spot a dad joke? The punchline is apparent. Bossmo Jackson with the 499. If you could be a superhero, what would your 3 superpowers be? Let's go, JD and Solo.
Oh, the Devil's Kiss, the Devil's Kiss, and the Devil's Kiss.
Probably
I would
to
wanna
speak to
fly.
somebody. Yeah. Oh well, I don't know. I would rather be invisible
don't
than
like
fly.
flying.
Yeah, I would rather be invisible. Like Hollow,
so you'll
like
be-
Hollow Man and Kevin Bacon.
Well, he was a villain though. He was.
That's fine.
Okay, well, I guess that fits. So for me, I would have the ability to fly. Would make it very easy to get to certain places if there was traffic.
Yes, that's a good one. Bossmo Jackson, thank you, brother. Leopoldo with the 2. Fatu, Oba, Braun, Gunther. Should Brock lose to all of them? You know, we forgot Jacob Fatu. That could also work too. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say lose to all of them though. I think that would be a bit much.
Yeah.
To where it might actually take away from how much it means to the individual performer. So I would pick 1 or 2 and just stick to those.
Dark one with a 499. The judge sent me to jail. Good thing I stutter, so I couldn't finish the sentence. Furious Nation with a $20 super chat. After reading something recently regarding Bruce and LA Knight, nothing will change as long as he's still there. Baron Corbin, I think, mentioned something about him on a podcast months ago. Wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Yeah, I've kind of thrown his name out there. I don't know for sure, but he seems like the type of guy that would have a problem with LA Knight. That's why I say it. You may not be far off, and Corbin knows more than many people kind of realize, so he may be onto something there. Emoji Matt with a 5. I don't know what's funnier, JD saying LaFleur or JD saying fucking commercials. LOL. Well, I would take LaFleur over fucking commercials for sure. Igel Blanc, I would take over fucking commercials, yeah. But none on Saturday. No commercials on Saturday, thank God. Boss Mo Jax with the 199. JD is the heel of this show. Solo is the face. Listen, man, I'm on my best behavior here. What are you guys talking about? Joker face with a 499. What do you guys think led to Damian Priest to downfall as a main event guy? And yeah, he is wrestling on main event now.
Yeah, I saw he wrestled Kit Wilson.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, go look it up. He wrestled Kit Wilson, I think, last week on main event.
Oh my God.
And now it's like when I saw that vignette on Friday where Rhea Ripley showed up, I'm like, okay, this is so transparent. Like they're trying to use Rhea to rub off on Damian and try to, kind of dig back that magic they had when they were still on Raw together last year. It's like, well, how can we help this guy? We'll bring Rhea back over to SmackDown.
What do you guys led to the downfall of Damian Priest? What do you guys think led to the downfall of Damian Priest? Road Dogg. Creative.
How about, yeah, I mean, moving him to SmackDown, which should have been a benefit, ended up being a curse because they did not have good creative to support him or people for him to work with. And so he just sort of flatlined.
Smooth J with a 499. What if Rock comes out and says your soul belongs to me? No, this was mentioned before. No. Furious Nation with a 499. One match that should go into the Hall of Fame. HBK versus Undertaker from WrestleMania 25. It'll be there. It's one of, if not the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, in my opinion.
As should their Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah. Emoji Matt with a 5. Otunga made Jennifer Hudson change her mind and say, I am telling you, I am going. Leopoldo with a 2. How pissed would Goldberg be if WWE aired a 10-minute Cena speech?
Oh, I think it'll be longer than 10 minutes.
Well, good thing Goldberg doesn't have a podcast.
He does have a podcast.
Does he?
Goldberg's Garage.
Oh, I thought that was just like a TV show about cars.
No.
No, it's his
that's
actual
a
podcast? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. He can rant about it all he wants there. Emoji Matt with a 2. Sean Ricker attacked LA Knight underneath the No. You guys got to stop. Please. Furious Nation with a 199. Favorite Christmas movie?
Die Hard.
Home Alone. We got, who do we got here? Elsa with a 199. Happy Titan Tuesday. Well, Elsa, thank you. Happy Titan Tuesday back at you. Real Danimal with a $2 super chat. Thoughts on Jericho versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania? I could see it eventually. Not at Mania, but I could see it eventually. Yeah.
No, I could see that as a Mania match. I wouldn't mind it, as long as he's not sort of immediately inserted into that like top mix. Then
Jason's not enthused about Jericho in any capacity.
It's gonna take some rehab to get me to really give a shit.
Demeter Bullion with a 449. It leaves me a what is this? A mad emoji with the smoke coming out of the nose. What's that about?
You made fun of him. He's not happy.
Omar with a 499. Remember when Vince said on live TV, "I'll be damned, I thought I was in Texas. I'm in Afghanistan. You're a member of the Taliban."
I don't remember this.
Me neither. I don't want to remember it. And Furious Nation with a 999. Who was worse in your opinion, Big Daddy V or the Boogeyman? And also, can't believe it's been 17 years since Jeff Hardy won the WWE title at Armageddon in 08. Who was worse? I'm gonna say Big Daddy V. Honestly, really?
I didn't like the worms.
Yeah, me neither. You can't. The both of them were equally as terrible. Thank you guys very much. That's all we got for you. Thank you for the incredible support tonight. You guys killed it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's episode 124. Wednesday we'll be live for Dynamite. Him and I on our respective channels. And then Saturday, Jason and I will be live for Saturday night's main event. John Cena's final match ever as a professional wrestler against Gunther. And all the great action on Saturday night will be here live after the show is over. And I'm going to leave it to him to sound us off as usual. After this, we got Emoji Matt with a 2. Van Hammer attacked LA Knight under the mask. Jacob Fatu or Braun versus Brock, says Ollie.
Hopefully we get both.
I would love to see both. All right, brother, sign us out of here for 124.
We're seeing all these John Cena appearances this week and all these interviews and stuff. So, imagine my surprise when I'm watching this. I don't know if you are aware of this new show, Pluribus. Have you heard about this new Vince Gilligan show?
I have not.
It's on Apple TV. It's the same guy who created Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And one of the characters from Better Call Saul, he actually created the show for her, basically. She's like in the lead role. And I'm watching it, and then John Cena pops out. And there's the weirdest, most random cameo. So you can't avoid this guy. But enjoy it, because after next weekend, it's all over. I mean, he'll still be around, but this is, in many ways, it is the end of an era. And I don't know if it was necessarily the best era, but he was the face of that era. And I think next weekend, even if you're not the biggest John Cena fan, I do think that entrance and just when it really sets in, I think it'll be like an emotional send-off there at the end. I know you're not like a sappy guy or anything like that, but I think that, it'll kind of hit us next weekend that it really is over.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think they're going to kill it. I think Cena's going to give everything he's got. Looking forward to the match, and I'm sure Jason is as well. Thank you guys for a great show. 124 in the books. We'll see you right back here.
Omar says he said it to Sabu on ECW.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I mean, I'm not shocked by that, I guess, but I wasn't exactly watching ECW week to week at that point. So
me neither. Who would want to? I mean,
not too many people were.
No. Thank you guys for a great 124. We'll be back next week. As always, we'll talk about all this John Cena last match stuff on Saturday, next Tuesday, right here on episode 125. Until then, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.